Ladies and gentlemen, I can with confidence tell you that we are bringing it back. What is it? This shirt. Connor shirt is back. Yes, you can buy this shirt once again, and this is the final time we are ever bringing back this set. So if you missed out on our drop with APARI, we are bringing back all of the popular items that you enjoyed. On screen right now, you can see some of the pictures of the merchandise. We are bringing back some of your favorite pieces from that collection and offering them one last time to you guys again. Some of the items are the After Dark hoodie, the After Dark sweatpants, the After Dark split shirt, and of course, the lavender shirt, the Connor shirt. I already have 3 of them. And the main reason why we're bringing these back is because I need 30 more of them. So if you want to get your hands on some of this iconic merch, it is only available for a very short time. So make sure that you grab it now. Pre-orders run from January 26th to February 9th PST. And if you buy one of the Connor shirts and meet me in the Connor shirt, I will give you a picture, a handshake, and maybe a kiss on the cheek. Who knows how saucy we can get. So I hope that I can expect many of you at home rocking the Connor shirt very soon. Get them while you can now.
How many 8-year-olds do you think you can feasibly beat in a fight?
At the same time.
They try to jump you.
What if I just like grabbed one kid? Okay, let's say 10 kids run at me. I grab one kid, throw him at the kids to get as many of them out of the way as I can. Grab another kid, grab him out, pile drive his head into the ground.
Welcome back to another episode of the Trash Taste Podcast. I'm your host Joey, and I'm with my fellow cohorts Connor and Garnt. We're doing a topical episode.
Well, we're gonna be doing a normal episode, which has been a
God
while
forbid.
since we've done a normal episode where we don't come in with a pre-planned topic.
We haven't seen each other in quite a while, I believe, right?
like 2 weeks. Yeah, we got a lot to.
Well,
catch
you're
up
in
on.
Thailand the
I
whole
was in
time.
Thailand.
What were you doing? Just catching up with family?
Yeah, had a big family reunion and just wanted to chill out in my house in Thailand and catch up with some friends as well. And pretty much January is the only month this year that I'm going to be able to travel back to Thailand, I think. So I was like, I got to take this opportunity.
Damn.
But I am pissed off because I missed the big GeexPlus trip.
Oh, yeah.
Where all of the company went on this great trip.
Both of you fucking missed out on it.
Wait, what?
He didn't go either.
I didn't go.
Wait, what? You didn't know?
I didn't go, no.
Wait, you didn't know?
I just didn't. I had stuff came up. No, I was busy. I last minute had to put together a gaming tournament.
Yeah, he was too busy being a streamer.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Was that the Apex tournament, right?
Yeah, Apex came to me because they had a collaboration with Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Right.
And I guess, I don't know how
I guess you're the Final Fantasy guy
I
now.
don't know how it all came about. And I also don't know, because I was literally asked like last minute. And I
Right.
don't know why. They were like, well, I guess maybe they had like, maybe some ad agencies a budget left over or something.
Yeah.
And I guess there was like no one who knew both games pretty well.
Yeah.
But I was trying to think about it. I was like, I don't think there's many streamers who know Apex really well and know Final, because it's just a completely different audience.
I guess you've just got that one little niche now, don't
Since
you?
when are you the dude that knows Final Fantasy pretty well?
Oh, he's completed 2 now.
Oh, shit.
Shit, he's completed
okay.
more than me, Joey.
How many
That's not hard.
Okay, how many fucking gamers who play first-person shooters have completed like a Final Fantasy all the way through?
That is true.
Like, there's not many, I feel like. At least not.
That's the minimum requirement. Have you finished at least one Final Fantasy?
I think you'll be hard pressed.
Probably
to find
only
some.
Japanese VTubers, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think that was maybe why the collaboration came about, because it was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
obviously, I think to a lot of people in the West, they were like, what is it?
It is a weird
But
collab.
they asked me to put together a tournament last minute, and it like wasn't even. We were trying to get it all done. Like, it wasn't even confirmed until like literally like 2 days before.
Did it go well?
Yeah, it went great. It was a fun tournament. It worked out really well, and I think everyone had fun. Got to bring out some people who had wanted to get involved in something for a while.
Yeah.
And I think people really enjoyed it. We got to make sure with these kind of events that like, how do you make a game maybe people don't really understand? How do you make it like easy to watch? That's always the tough part. How do
Is
you, like-
Apex difficult to understand? I guess maybe to non-Apex players.
Yeah, if you haven't played Apex, there's a lot of POVs going on. It's like,
Right.
how do you I think any battle royale or any kind of shooter.
Well, and
Kinda
that's what I
intricacies are
feel
tough.
about first-person shooters as a whole in terms of like an esports. I mean, Counter-Strike is still like one of the biggest esports, but I still always think it's harder to follow having so many different perspectives than just
The perspective swapping is the toughest
Right.
part.
one single
right.
perspective.
That's true.
They added the Buster Sword into the game, so you can just go around and like slash people up. It's cool. It was kind of cool. I think it's actually ended by the time that this episode's out, but it was really cool.
Wait, yeah, because I saw so many ads of it in like Akihabara.
Dude, there was everywhere.
It was
They went crazy.
so weird just seeing like what was it? It was Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith, right?
Yeah, they
in
had
the game.
skins. Yeah.
But like they looked so different.
Well, because it was like, I think they didn't want to do like a Fortnite where they're like, Tifa's in Apex.
Yeah, that would be a bit weird.
They were like, let's make one of the characters kind of dressed like them. And it's kind of like, more so if the character was cosplaying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even recognize
Yeah, it
like,
doesn't-
the characters
yeah.
at first.
Yeah.
Because it just looks completely
There's a
different.
Barrett skin that looks really cool though.
Yeah.
Really?
There's a, yeah. Cause
Okay, I think Barrett probably out of all the Final Fantasy VII characters probably works the best.
Yeah, he looks
in
fucking
like
cool.
that stuff. Because he's
New
already a
Castle.
gun.
He's already got a fucking gun.
Yeah, he's already a gunman in the game, right? So
Yeah, but I think that character doesn't use a gun for an arms.
So he's carrying a gun.
I'm actually not sure. I think, yeah. But then there was also like material.
Barrett just has arms now, apparently.
Yeah, and there's also material you can pick up in the game.
Oh, really?
And like, there's like the little mascot that'll follow you around, dressed as Cloud.
Oh,
it's like a
cute.
little Loch Ness monster dressed as Cloud
Yeah,
that'll
yeah,
shoot
yeah.
people. It's really funny.
Oh,
it's
that's cute.
really cool. But yeah, it's a cool collaboration. That's why I missed the company thing,
Wow.
which Joey went to, right?
I
Yeah, how
went
was it?
It was really fun.
What'd
We
you do?
all went up to Nagano,
Right.
to this place called Kamisua, and it's basically just kind of this big lake that they have in Nagano.
Yeah.
I didn't know what we were going to be doing at first, but I assumed it was just going to be a chill thing. Yeah, I didn't realize until we went on this trip and I saw how many people came with us that I'm like, wow, this company is really fucking grown.
Yeah, because you didn't come to the Christmas party, did
No.
you? You missed the Christmas party.
I missed the Christmas party, but so I came to this one and there were a lot of new faces I hadn't seen before, and I'm just like, are these all our staff? Like this is way too many people. Like 4 years ago, it was just us three and Maylene.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
it's
now it's
crazy.
like, now there was like, how many people were there?
Nabi
Like
was a
30?
freelancer.
I was a freelancer.
Yeah, you were a freelancer.
Kai hadn't joined us yet. So many people hadn't joined us yet. And I think there was like 28 people
Yeah.
showed up to this thing.
Yeah, I think the office was Denny's at that point.
Yeah, it was.
The office was Denny's.
Yeah.
That's where we had our meetings.
It was us
Yeah.
three, Maylene, and the boss man at Denny's. that would
yeah,
remember
the
after
old
that.
guy.
I always love going to like company events and just seeing how Maylin acts now, because she just like, you remember how she was at the beginning.
Yeah.
right? And the way she is now.
I mean,
and
there's
she-
big boss now.
Yeah, all she does is just stand in the corner and just look happy seeing her children just interact with each other. And I don't know if she was like that at the company party.
Oh,
but she
absolutely.
was definitely like that at the Christmas party where she just people watched.
Oh,
And
yeah. No,
and she was
totally.
like, oh, yes, children, yes.
Gather around,
Gather
children."
around, talk to each other.
She was like
children.
Olima looking over her Pikmin, you know? It's just like beep, beep. All right, everyone gather around. Here we go.
Yeah, so she doesn't specifically do speeches, but for that one instance during
I
the
missed the Maylin speech.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh.
She did a speech, and then Masa did a whole Rakugo section. So to explain, we have like a domestic guy at our like Japanese guy called Masa, really cool dude. But he I guess like studies at Rakugo. And so he was like,
Do you want to explain what Rakugo
Rakugo
is?
is basically kind of like anecdotal stand-up, but in
Yeah.
a very traditional Japanese
Very
style.
traditional.
It's really good. Like Rakugo Shinju, amazing anime. If you watch that, you'll understand it. But
Yeah.
it's really difficult to do.
Yep.
Especially well. And so Masa, being the typical Japanese man getting drunk off of one glass of beer, was just red in the face. And after the speech, someone mentioned was just like, Masa, do some Rakugo, because there was kind of like a stage in where we were having the dinner.
Yeah.
And Masa was just like, all right, fine. He jumps up, just immediately gets into it, just off the top of the dome for like 15 minutes, does this whole just like freestyle Rakugo, and it was so funny. And everyone was just like, all right, he can spit. He can do Rakugo. And it was really, really cool. But yeah, we got absolutely shit-faced that night.
I'm so sad.
the topic you mentioned in Rakugo as well is pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
What was the topic you mentioned?
What was the topic again?
Pokemon animal abuse.
Pokemon animal abuse?
Yeah.
Wait, there's a Rakugo skit for Pokemon animal
Well, no,
abuse?
there isn't. Masa made it up on the spot. So he
Bro.
came up with the theme on the spot, told this whole story about like Pokemon.
Did he do it in Japanese or English?
in Japanese?
Okay.
And like he came up with like a proper punchline and everything, and everyone was like, "Oh, that was a really good bit. How long have you been working on that?" And Masa was like, "I just made that up." So
Japanese man has one Asahi and he's like, I am a Rakugo
and he
master.
unlocks 100% of his brain. But yeah, and then we had like a little karaoke room in the ryokan that we booked out until way past everything. I think I drank like half a bottle of whiskey that night. I was pretty hammered.
Pretty shit-faced?
Pretty shit-faced, but it was fun. It was fun.
I heard about the Daikon Incident.
Wait, what's the Daikon Incident?
Okay, so it was after the whole karaoke thing, right?
Yeah.
So we had the room till about originally we had the room till about 11 p.m. But once 11 p.m. hit, we were all still going really hard because we're all shit-faced. So somebody called up the room and like convinced them to give us the room till 12 instead.
Okay.
But then after 12, we had to go back to our rooms. By the time we all went back to our rooms, we were very, very drunk. I think it was Kai and a couple of other staff were like, oh, let's go do a combini run. So they went down to the combini to buy what I thought was drinks because I stayed in the room. Instead, Corey, one of the staff members, came back holding the biggest daikon that I've ever seen in my life. Like daikon is radish, by the way. This white radish that was probably about this long and about this thick, with really thick mama. And he just walked into the room just holding it like a baseball bat.
What?
And I was like, Corey, did you get my drinks? And he was like, oh. No, but I got you this daikon. and he just gave me this massive daikon. I'm like,
Bro, you can't do shit with the daikon.
and I'm like, Corey, what do you want me to do with this? And he was like, it was really cheap. I was like, I don't care. You didn't get me my drinks. So we were just drinking, hanging out. I was sharing a room with Manu O'Hara.
Yeah.
And they were in the background with Dietus playing Magic. And Corey said, all right, well, we got to do something about this daikon. I'm not taking it back to my room. And I'm like, well, I'm not. All right, well, you bought it.
Man buys a daikon, refuses to take it
like,
home.
you bought it.
Oh my God.
So what am I going to do with it? And then Jordan, one of our new staff members, was just like, oh, you know what would be really funny? And he grabbed the daikon and he slipped it underneath O'Hara's pillow. Because we all had futons.
This is the most like boys trip kind of like stories.
Yeah. Girls are like, I bet he's cheating on me. Boys are like, I bought a daikon.
What do we do with the daikon?
The almighty daikon. So he slipped it under Manu's pillow without him realizing. And then we took bets. We were like, let's see how long it takes for him to notice that there's a giant fucking daikon under his pillow. Woke up the next morning. Man hadn't noticed at all until I told him about it. I was like, you should flip over your pillow. And he flipped it over the next morning and he was like, the fuck is this?
So he slept on a radish the whole night?
He slept on a radish the whole night. And then he dead ass looked me in the eyes and he went, oh, that's why my pillow was rolling around all night.
Ain't no way.
He like legitimately did it. But I think, but then I was like, was it not uncomfortable? And you know, because you'd notice if you were sleeping on a massive daikon,
I was sleeping on a goddamn radish.
And Mano, unironically, he was just like, oh no, like I actually really liked the pillow height. Like it was actually
Bro's gonna go home and be like, babe, I gotta sleep with the radish.
I can't get to sleep without my radish.
Babe, I just discovered this thing. Just hear me out, okay?
TikTok life hack.
Japan
sleep
life
with
hacks.
A radish.
Sleep with a radish under your pillow.
It is customary to sleep with a radish in Japan.
This sounds like the Japanese equivalent of, you know, like British and Aussie pissheads when they come home with like a traffic cone or something.
Yeah.
Shit. In Japan, you just come back with a massive radish.
Come back with a 50 yen daikon.
But we are going to have a little bit of a detour because we are going to have the first official ever Trash Taste sponsored segment, which we normally wouldn't agree to.
Is it the first one we've done?
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've ever been.
First time we've ever done this.
Damn, all right.
Which we wouldn't normally agree to, but I guess Atlas came to us. Was it Atlas that came to us specifically?
Sega and Atlas.
Sega and Atlas. So Sega and Atlas came to us and said, do you want to talk about Persona 3 for 10, 15 minutes, however much you want to talk about it?
And we were like, well, we were going to do that anyway.
By the time this episode is out, Persona 3 Reload should already be out for you to get. Yes.
Yes, sir. So Atlas sent me a early access copy of the game. So I've been playing it for about a week since you guys are seeing this video. Probably finished it by the time you're seeing this video. But as of us recording it, I'm about 10 hours in. Yeah. So I'm about 1/20th of the way through the game. And I mean,
how was it?
What can I say that you're probably not expecting me to say? It's amazing. It's so good. It's everything I wanted.
As somebody who has never played a Persona game,
Okay.
is this a good time to jump in? What's the best way?
I would think so. Okay, so since you kind of missed the train on Persona up until now, like even Persona 5, right? They've definitely, I think, took a lot of influence from just the success of Persona 5, especially when it comes to like the visuals.
Yeah.
Because it's essentially, they took the Persona 3 story and the game, which shockingly came out almost 20 years ago. Persona 3 originally came out in 2006, I believe.
20 years ago?
Yeah, 18 years ago that game came out. So they took an 18-year-old game and they basically just completely updated all the graphics, the music, the UI to kind of match more of the style of Persona 5.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you who've played it or seen any of it, has some of the most
all
beautiful
the
UI.
memes.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
all of the
I
memes.
just know through memes. And then the fucking gun UI when it's like gun.
Yeah, just like shoot.
Well, yeah, you just because it could be used in so many situations.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And like Last Surprise being like a meme song now and everything, and the UI and everything being amazing. Like I don't know how they did it, but they've somehow made, in my opinion, a better UI than P5.
Okay, so like this
Which is crazy.
This just shows how much of a JRPG brain Joey has.
Yeah.
So Joey gets an early access to Persona 3 Reload, right? One of like it is one of my most anticipated games this year because I like Persona 3 is the only I guess 3D Persona game that I haven't played yet. I played 4, played 5.
Yep.
And I was going to play 3 because everyone has told me that Persona 3 has the best story
It
out
does.
of every Persona.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or, like,
not even a question.
yeah. And I was just like, this is based on nothing but pure gut instincts, but I feel like they're going to remake it. And City's like, Garnt, you need to play Persona 3. It's one of my favorite games. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to wait. They're going to remake it. Just watch. And so, lo and behold, it gets announced last year or the year before that they're remaking it. And I'm like, I fucking told you. I fucking told you. Those who waited, they're getting like rewarded now.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think P3, what makes the P3 story so good, in my opinion, is that even in today's standards, the story is actually quite dark. There's a lot of like really dark, and some like people who don't like P3 necessarily might like just kind of brush it aside as being like just edgy, but I think like they do it, they kind of explore really dark themes in a way that I think makes sense with the gameplay and with the story.
I have a question, Joey.
Yes.
Sensei. What is the rough story?
The rough story? Okay,
Yeah,
so
set me up on this world.
Sure.
Like,
Okay.
I don't know
So the
anything.
rough story is you are the protagonist who is starting
great.
off moving to a brand new school. It's like kind of like a boarding school.
every Persona so far.
Every Persona game so far.
We're moving to school.
Yeah,
You need to narrow it down, Joey.
you're being transferred to a new school, but the day that you get to your new school and you're heading towards your dorm for the first time, you step out of the train station and something's up. Something's a bit weird because there are no people
I'm in
around.
Birmingham.
There are no people around. The moon is out, and there's just a bunch of these weird coffins that are just strewn all across the city.
Okay.
Right? So the protagonist thinks like, what the fuck is going on here? Right? He gets to the dorm, and the girl there who is like, there to welcome her to the dorm is just like, wait, how are you here right now? What's going on? So apparently something's up. So you find out a little bit later on that every night in this city, for some reason, there is this thing called the dark hour, right? Which is where midnight, every day at midnight, the dark hour commences, where everybody who has no susceptibility to the dark hour gets turned into coffins. And in their mind,
This
don't.
is just Birmingham.
This is
Yeah,
Birmingham.
this is Birmingham.
This is the dark. That's what we call it at midnight in
It's the dark
Birmingham.
hour. It's the dark hour. And if you
You better get me endorsed by 12, Jerry. The dark hour begins.
Midnight hits, dark hour's coming. We have a curfew. So basically, it's where like basically everybody who gets turned into coffins during this dark hour
It just
doesn't.
passes,
They don't in their heads. They don't realize that the dark hour is happening. Like for them, it's just like every other night, right? Because this dark hour happens in between the space of reality and like fantasy.
Okay,
I guess.
got it.
And it's this time. At the beginning of the story, you don't know why this dark hour is happening, but everybody who is in the dorm works for this like organization that fights against like the enemies that appear during the dark hour, which are the shadows. Which, if you play P5, you know,
right.
that's where the shadows came
Yeah.
from, right? So there's these enemies that appear during the dark hour that try and cause havoc towards people and like try and attack them kind of like psychologically and mentally. And you notice that something is happening as well, because like after every day, you start to see people in the city having this thing called apathy syndrome, which is where like it seems they're kind of turning into zombies, right? Or they're kind of like, you know, apathetic, as the name suggests, right? So the group is like, all right, what the hell is happening here? So shadows are doing some, you know, debauchery,
we'll find out.
right? So we got to figure out. When the dark hour hits, the school that you go to turns into the Tartarus, which is this like giant tower basically that continues on forever. And they think like, all right, we've never explored this tower before. Something might be up here. We might be able to figure out if we explore this tower, we might be able to figure out where the shadows are coming from.
Tower.
Yeah, what's happening? Like, let's get to the bottom of this.
Right.
So the whole point of the game is you play as the protagonist as you live your day-to-day life in the school, but during the dark hours, you go and explore the Tartarus, which to try and get to the bottom of like what exactly is happening.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Persona 4, Persona 5, all the games that preceded it, you know, the gameplay is split up into, you know, 2 different sections. You got the turn-based combat where you go to the Tartarus, fight the shadows, level up, do all that kind of stuff. And then during the day, there's the social, what do they call it again?
Social links.
Social, the
So
social.
that seems way scarier than any boss fight to me.
Yeah.
The social links?
I got to try and socialize and figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to imagine as well, because I mean, we're set in Japan. That's got to be the hard part as well for the.
yeah.
That's why they call it. That's why they turn it into a gameplay.
And you know,
to teach people.
You know, this is an old game too. I completely forgot about this until I played the reload. That you know, in P5, right?
Yeah.
You go to school Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And then the weekends you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
P3, you also go to school on Saturdays.
Oh my god.
Because Japan used to be a 6-day school week.
God.
Oh, wow.
Until they changed it recently,
Wow.
right? So like I remember like when I was playing it, I was just like, wait, why am I in school on Saturdays? I'm like, oh, because this is set in like 2009 when like kids used to go to school on Saturdays. So basically the social link thing is you know, you live your day-to-day life in the school, you basically get like essentially infinite amount of choices. Right?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
So you can like go to the library to study, raise your academic levels, which helps you unlock different things. You can hang out with people to increase social links, which will help you then create stronger personas in the turn-based combat world.
That's not why we do it.
Everything's intrinsically linked.
Like we increase our
Okay.
we increase our social links to get to know the characters better.
Yes.
But they give you perks like in game in terms of like game mechanics and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But some like increasing social links, you can get some really, really interesting stories with these characters that you might not get to know as well if you don't do the side quests.
Yeah.
But the hardest choice about any like Persona game is that you only have a limited amount of time, like life. Right?
Yeah.
So it goes normally like
fast.
it goes like a calendar, so you don't have infinite time.
Yeah, I remember seeing the calendar.
Yeah. So you have to choose who you spend time with or
What you do.
with that time. Are you going to raise stats in a certain place to you know make the game easier to play, or do you want to focus all your time on
And to add to that kind of extra element of choice as well, they really try to kind of stick to the reality of things that you would have in every other thing. So, for example, like one of the choices you can do is you can go to this cafe during the night and you can either just go there as a customer and buy a drink and increase a stat, or you could work there as a part-timer to gain extra stats and get some money, but you can only do it on certain days of the week.
Yeah.
So say for example,
And then
the
you can't do anything on those days.
and then and so once you've decided to choose this one activity, whatever it is, then the day is over.
Yeah.
And you can't go back to it.
yeah.
So it's this really interesting choice of every day.
like life.
It
Yeah,
is.
it is.
It really is like
People are
life.
like, man, this sucks. Why can't I change my decision? Because you can't do that in real life.
You can't do that in real life, right? So it's what's really fun is that, you know, obviously the whole, you know, the I guess the RPG element of like, you know, fighting monsters, leveling up is obviously fun for JRPG players, but it adds this extra layer of, I guess, complexity and like intricacy of the fact that both of these seemingly two completely different gameplay styles are linked in a way. So the choices you make in the social linking and the day-to-day life affects the way that your characters operate and your personas operate in the JRPG world.
Yeah.
And then whatever you clear in the JRPG world affects the real world. So the more you clear of the Tartarus, the more things you can unlock in the real world as well. So it's kind of like playing two games at the same time. So there's a lot of things you kind of have to juggle, but after a while, you kind of get a good feeling of like, all right, well, I've figured out that if I increase a certain stat, then I can unlock different parts in the real world, which will help me in the JRPG world, which will then help me to increase the social link, which will then help you to create this persona. So it's all connected.
Yeah, one thing I want to know that I'm very interested in. So I've only played Persona 5 and Persona 4.
Yeah.
But one thing that always like stood out was just how like the setting itself, right? So you talked about like Tartarus, right?
Yeah.
Is that the main setting of Persona 3?
That is the main setting of, I guess, the beginnings of Persona 3.
Yeah, because one thing that always stood out, Persona 5, the city of Tokyo was almost a character in itself.
Yeah.
And similar with Persona 4, where it has this, country, like small countryside town. That was like a character in itself as well.
Yeah.
It gave it like a really each game its own identity.
Yeah, Persona 3 is kind of set in like a little port city that it kind of looks like Odaiba,
Right.
in a sense. So like you catch a monorail to get to your school,
Right.
and it's kind of like on this island that's in the middle of this bay.
All right.
Right. So it's a different setting to P4 and P5, but it also has just as much character, I think. And again, with each of the different locations that you can go to and unlock, there's so much you can do in even just each of those locations.
Yeah.
All right. Real shit now.
Yeah.
Which girl are you going to romance?
Can you only romance one girl?
Yeah, you can only romance.
You can only romance one girl.
It's like real life.
Yeah.
Well,
in P5, actually, you can romance multiple girls, but if you get caught with it at the end, then
That's like real life.
you get rejected by all of them in the end.
You can attempt it. You can
Yeah.
attempt it to romance.
I've tried because I was curious. And literally, like, Valentine's Day hits and you just get slapped by every single girl that you romance, and then you end up with no one.
Yeah.
It's just like real life.
Because I know so many of my mates who have played Persona 3
Yeah.
are crazy about the red-haired girl.
Mitsuru?
Mitsuru. I know nothing about her, but I've seen her design, which looks like this, and I'm like, ooh.
So when I originally played P3, I was also a Mitsuru girl.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to be a Mitsuru girl again.
Okay,
because
okay.
the redesigns of all the characters are so fucking nice. Like they took the kind of it's not to say that like the visuals have like, not aged since the original P3. It definitely has.
Yeah.
But they've again took a lot of inspiration from the look of P5. So a lot of the characters in this P3 reload have the same style as P5, which is great if you've played P5. The character designs look sick in that.
Yeah, it shows how Joey's mind works because he got to play early access.
His mind work.
And the
Yeah,
one
but look
thing
into
that
the
one
interesting
thing
mind.
that he showed me was just like the UI.
It does look crazy. It does look
Joey,
insane.
out of everything, Joey was like, "Yo, I filmed something cool," and it's just him going through the menu and literally him going, "Oh,
I don't.
It's crazy how like all of Japan collectively agreed that all of their UI skill would go into Persona.
Yeah, right.
There's no UI on
We
any
can't.
other
We
website
can't
or
make
anything in
websites.
Japan.
We can't do. We can't make like internal systems in companies. But we can make a game UI look like just the best.
Could you imagine you go to your bank and it has the Persona UI? Like,
Oh my god!
boom, 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 withdraw. Boom, explodes.
they just know how JRPG minds work. They know how much time you're gonna be spending in the menu, so they're like,
You got to
okay.
shoot yourself in the head to get cash out. Persona withdraw cash. Yeah. So again, like P3, I think every Persona fan can agree. Definitely does have the best stories, and I think a really strong point about the stories as well is, as you said, it's the social link stories. It's the individual characters you get to know throughout the game where you can increase their social links, because obviously the more you increase their social links, the more of their story you get to explore. And I think that was a really, really strong point of P3.
Yeah.
That I think, personally speaking, the social links in P5 were good. I think they were great, but if you compare it to the ones in P3, you can, I think, very quickly tell P3 social link stories are a lot more interesting and a lot more, again, like dark and very, very real. Like, I remember one of the social links I did yesterday that I started off was you get to talk to this like kind of old couple that runs a bookstore, and and everyone who's played P3 knows it's the best storyline in the game. And I completely forgot how this story went, because it's obviously been so long since I played the original P3.
Yep.
And I don't know how much I should give away. I probably shouldn't.
Don't give it too much.
don't
But it's a very dark storyline.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, but
So
that's
you
all
can-
that's sweet, presumably.
Yeah, they're like the most wholesome old couple ever that just has like, I think on like level 3 of the social link, you're just like, whoa, okay. I didn't realize we are going to go in this direction. Holy shit.
How long is Persona 3? Like, there's a game like normally.
As a main game, so I'd say an average Persona game, probably main story is maybe about 100 hours. Yeah, because
It's a
again, like,
beefy game.
yeah, because again, there's just so much room for possibilities you can choose, right? And I think a lot of that time is taken up on just doing all those different types of things. It's really difficult to like 100% it. I don't even know if it's possible to 100% it, but because there's just so much room to do whatever you want in the game. There are so many different styles of the game you can go for. So like, you know, technically speaking, you don't have to do any of the social links.
Yeah.
Those are technically optional. Like at the beginning of a day, you have the option to just go home and sleep.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
that does nothing.
That sounds good. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
you can do that if you want as well. That is a start, and
yeah.
you can just completely just focus on playing the, you know, the titleless like JRPG side of things. But again, what I think drives a lot of people to like do all of the social link stuff is the fact that A, it has great stories and great characters, and B, it actually helps you in the long run in the JRPG section.
Yeah, that's cool that it gives you stats and you can kind of get rewarded for that.
It's just one of the most addicting gameplay loops I have played in a JRPG, genuinely, and that's why I'm so glad that I get to experience Persona 3 Reload for like the first time, because, you know, going back from Persona 5 to Persona 4, Persona 4 is like still a absolutely great game, but it was difficult to get used to all of like the gameplay stuff that they had, like, you know,
Implemented in P5.
Implemented in P5 that wasn't in P4.
Yeah.
And going back from P4 to P3, I was just like, ooh, I don't know if I'm ready to go to this.
I think
old school
Persona
game.
is one of those few games that is really difficult to go backwards in.
Yeah.
Like if you are going to like
Because
experience,
they put so much like experience and knowledge into improving the gameplay every single iteration.
Exactly. And I think P3 Reload did such a good job of that, of like taking all of the shit that they implemented in P5 that worked so well and just translating that over to the story of P3.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting I've watched the anime of Persona 4, but I can't remember anything.
Oh, the Persona 4 anime?
Yeah, I watched all of it.
Persona 4 was kind of like more of a murder mystery
No,
set in a
yeah,
small little country town.
I do remember that. I just remember this big guy who was just...
And this big teddy bear.
Yeah, and I
Teddy,
remember just being... I was like, who's
And
this
they go
guy?
into the television.
Yeah, the television. Yeah, I remember this.
And the weather of the day determines the
yes,
inside. Yep. Which was a really, really cool concept, I think. And P3 does kind of have something similar to that.
Yeah.
So in P5, for instance, they also added that weather mechanic as well. In P3, they have something a little bit different where it's the phases of the moon.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so depending on which phase of the
Classic
moon you
horror.
go into the dungeon,
Yeah.
changes certain elements of... I think they
that's
did a
cool.
little bit of that in P5 as well with the... What was that underground section?
Mementos.
Yeah, Mementos. The Mementos. So the experience of Mementos is kind of similar to Titleist in the sense that every single floor is generally
I
procedured.
gotta write all these words down. Titleist,
So the Titleist, the floors are procedurally generated. So every single time you go in, it's completely different.
Yeah.
But so that kind of keeps the whole exploration of the tower still pretty fresh. But just with the added benefits this time of the godlike graphics and the music. Oh my god, Meguro Shoji never fucking misses, because I think from what I saw, they re-recorded all of the P3 music and kind of did a modern twist on it, and it's fire.
I mean, like, the entire Persona series as a whole is just like aesthetics, man.
Oh, dude.
My god.
Dude,
Like,
they
from
don't
the
miss.
music, it's just so bloody stylized to like the T. And every game has a different identity visually, audibly, and with the story as well, which is, I'm very, very excited to play it. I'm definitely going to be playing it. It was one of my most anticipated games, and I was
Will
very,
this
very
be
happy.
the first Persona game Connor plays?
I mean, I want to. It's just a little daunting because I like doing RPGs in one sitting.
Right.
Yeah.
And 100 hours in one sitting sounds like blood clots in my leg. It's like not a normal way to play these games, but I like getting sucked into these worlds and just not leaving.
Yeah.
I like being just completely my only thoughts
This
in the
is
world.
my experience with like all the Persona games I've played. Like you'll play like the first few hours, and then they'll reach this point in the gameplay loop where your calendar just opens up.
Yeah.
Right? And you'll be introduced to like one thing. You'll do like, okay, maybe I could do this one social link or go to the library of this one day. And then you'll get to this point about, I would say like 5 to 6 hours into any Persona game where it just opens up and you're like, fuck, there's so many things I want to do. And then you have to make the hard choice of being like, no, but I want to do it all.
Well, I'm currently about 9-10 hours in, and there are still a couple of shops in like the main mall area that aren't even open yet.
Yeah.
I don't really get decision fatigue when all of the information is given to me.
Yeah.
I hate it when there's like the kind of like there's 3 paths. We don't tell you anything. Pick one. I'm like, oh God.
I mean, Persona is that, but it's 30 paths.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if I know what all the things are, I feel like
Yeah.
I can make a decision. But then when they don't tell me anything about any of the paths, I'm like, huh?
So what's also kind of cool as well is that I think they really thought through about like the whole decision-making process.
Yeah.
Because they also kind of, on certain days, they put stakes on certain decisions. Right, in the sense that, like, for example, like every morning when you wake up after school, rather every day, you enter the afternoon phase where you can do whatever you want in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So, and you have a list. You can be like, oh, maybe I want to increase this stat, so I'll go to this place. Maybe that's already predetermined in your head. But then you can open up your phone and you can see that you've received some text messages from some people. And if you cancel them, it might affect your social link with them.
That's like real life.
Yeah.
That's just like real life.
But if you respond back to their text messages on that afternoon, you get an extra perk in the social link.
It's like real life.
Which is like real life. So now you have to think to yourself, well, shit, I was gonna go to this cafe this afternoon to increase my, charm stat.
When your homie texts you, thank you for everything.
Yeah.
You know what's fucked up is that I think Garnt probably replies quicker in Persona to the main characters than he does in real life to us. Like, Garnt is like a 4-day reply guy. Like, I may as well write a fucking pigeon messenger to Garnt.
Yeah, right.
If I could see the social link increase
Oh
or
my God.
Garnt just needs like his like brain UI to have like the text message right there being like, oh shit, I gotta respond. Yeah, so I mean, again, having played the original P3, they've obviously changed a couple of things. I think one of the mid-level bosses, they made it a lot harder in this one, which I was surprised about. And I think some of the finer details of the storyline, as far as I can remember, are a little bit different, but still feels like a P3 game with now.
And it's hard.
It can be pretty challenging.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm just playing on normal difficulty right now, just so I can kind of get a sense for all the changes that they have. But like, you can go like hard or like very hard mode, which very hard mode in any Persona game is like actually very hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Okay.
even for an experienced player, that shit is hard.
Hell yeah.
So if you want to challenge yourself to that,
I like doing it.
Yeah.
I like RPG combat because the way they just kind of make you have to restructure your team. It's more about thinking how
Exactly.
everything
Yeah.
works together as opposed
Yeah.
to just brute forcing.
Yeah, I mean, Persona 5 is the game that sold me on turn-based combat systems.
Okay, all right, well,
Also, just me personally, my favorite thing with P3 is you buy all your weapons from a police officer.
hell yeah.
Like, there's a police officer in the police station, and he takes you to the back room, and he's like, all right, what do you want? So that's dope. But yeah, fucking amazing. I'm obviously going to finish it, and I'm having a really, really good time with
I
it.
think we went way over what we were paid for to talk about in this sponsor segment.
Hey, that's
but
how
we
you
just
know
wanna
we're legit.
We just really wanted to talk
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
But yeah, either way, guys, by the time you're watching this episode, P3R is out right now on all of these systems. Put them on the screen, Mudan, because I don't remember all the ones that they have there. And you can check out the link in the description below as well if you would like to check out P3.
check it out.
If you've never played Persona, trust me, I think this is the best game to jump into.
just play Persona. They're
Just
all
play a fucking
awesome,
Persona
but-
game. They're all great.
But if you want to jump in, this is the perfect opportunity.
So yeah, again, guys, if you'd like to go check out the game, then the link is in the description below. On screen, it is a bit.ly link, bit.ly/TTP3R in all caps. Again, go check it out. Go play the game because it's amazing.
Let's go.
Just do it. Just do it. What are you waiting for? Just go do it right now. We convinced Connor to do it. I'm going to convince you to do it as well.
I do actually want to play a Persona game.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for letting us talk about the game, and thank you to Sega and Atlas for this part of the video.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, what a dream come true.
Finally, it only took me 10 years
wait.
of loving Atlas in order for me to get this.
Wait, you got paid to talk about Persona, Joey?
I got paid to talk about a series I love.
It's quite rare because actually there's a lot of the time. I mean, I guess this is not part of the sponsorship now.
No.
But they're like actually kind of talking about it. Where
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
a lot of people get really annoyed when people who get sponsored by games or series that haven't watched it, and they're like, "Well, you should sponsor." Like Joey from Persona, because he always plays Persona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess a lot of the times people fail to appreciate that a lot of the time. So sometimes companies are trying to get like new people in.
Yeah.
And if Joey is running the, I don't know,
Persona 3
the Persona,
fan
the
cam
Persona 3
fucking-
fan channel, and everyone's like, why isn't the Persona 3 channel being sponsored? It's like,
Because
well,
everyone's already going to play
Yeah.
it.
well, yeah, and it's kind of the harsh reality, really. Where
Yeah.
you almost like don't get these opportunities sometimes if you're
Yeah.
too into the thing.
That is true. That is
Kind of
true.
weird. There was some news that people were very pissed that XQC was promoting Yakuza series.
Wait, was he?
Yeah, he got paid to play the Yakuza series.
Oh shit.
And
I think people just hate XQC.
well, okay, so there's that, which is fair. But
Yeah.
then people were getting very upset. They're like, why is he getting it when it's this other streamer who streams all the games didn't get it? And it's like, well, you just answered your question. He streams all the games. He's gonna play the whole fucking
Although
game.
I will say, I don't see XQC's immediate fan base being like, this looks like a pretty good
Well,
game.
he was like, there was like a clip making the rounds where he was playing the game and he didn't realize it was turn-based combat.
Yeah.
And it was like it was kind of a funny. I don't know if you can pull it. Can you pull it up? Just type in SQC. You can,
Wait, was he playing 7 or the new one?
the new one. What's the new one
8.
called? Is it 8 or
It's Yakuza, like a dragon.
Like a Dragon? Yeah, but it's type in SQC 8 turn-based.
Literally the first video is why I think XQC was an odd choice to play Yakuza 8 early.
I mean, it definitely is because I think his
Yeah.
fan base just isn't. Yeah, like look at this. There's articles about it.
Yeah.
Like a Dragon fans not happy about SQC being used to promote.
Again, another game I need to play. I think that actually came out today as of us recording this.
Yeah.
I think the main issue I think with getting this one. Yeah, look at this one.
Holy, okay. Perfect guard. Press O. Perfect guard. I mean, I have to double.
I can't even understand what he's saying.
I'll try it again. Come on, do it.
He's got to attack. This is his turn.
Okay then.
Oh my god.
Which to be fair, I think momentarily not understanding something in a game it happens to everyone. You could for a moment you could not realize that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people get annoyed because it's like I guess him. Well, he doesn't really do this. Well, maybe he does. I don't watch him enough to know. But I know that his audience is pretty much not anti-weeb, but like generally make fun of a lot of anime fans, people who are kind of fans of these kind of games.
Yeah, sure.
So I think that's why it almost feels like a slap in the face
Yeah.
to a lot of fans of the series. It's that like, hey, you have these people who are kind of just toxic online and hate fucking anyone who likes anime or like calls it like dumb weeb shit.
Well-
and it is frustrating to see that almost being rewarded.
No,
Well,
That is
I
true.
think Yakuza, especially like the franchise, has a very much like I would say a cult.
Oh,
Like, a
absolutely.
very
Yeah, the
dedicated
audience
cult
is dedicated.
Fan base. And seeing your beloved series being promoted on a completely different kind of like audience and really like different audience members with completely different values and everything. Sometimes you can get protective over your series.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of a little balancing act you have to do sometimes where you're like, okay, I want this thing I love to get popular.
Yeah.
But there are some points. There are some points when it gets like a bit too popular and you're like, okay.
It's like, I wanted it to be popular, not mainstream, you know?
Well, this is how I feel about anime sometimes as well, because I'm still like very anti against like gatekeeping or anything, everything like that. I think, for example, anime getting more popular, more mainstream, on the most parts, for like there's it brings more positive things to the medium as a whole.
Sure.
But sometimes I see fucking how Jujutsu Kaisen fans act nowadays. I see what's happened to my beloved One Piece fan base.
Yeah.
It was so wholesome before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I'm very, very happy that these things I'm loving are getting more popular and more recognized. And then you have like the negative aspect of it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's getting more popular and more recognized by people outside of the immediate fan base, which, you know, on the positive is it creates new fans for whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it also lets people who were probably never anticipating to like this thing to realize that this is a thing.
Yeah.
And then getting all pissy about it because I guess they don't like it or whatever.
I feel like anime is just now becoming very, very similar to how gaming fandom is kind of treated, where it's like, you know, people who are into PUBG have no interaction with a Nintendo fan.
Oh, of course.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's kind of like that, because it's like, all right, well, Jujutsu Kaisen is just pop culture at this point. It is just like one of the most well-known.
I swear there is a
and the
new meme.
Dude, the Jujutsu Kaisen memes never end. They are just relentless, and I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Like they're funny.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like that now where a lot of like anime fans are kind of struggling to kind of like come to terms with the fact that maybe their anime fandoms are kind of going to be split, like similarly to how gaming kind of is.
Yeah, I think eventually, if it hasn't already happened, well, it's already happened with the big franchises. You know, like obviously, you know, you have the One Piece fans only interacting usually with just the One Piece fandom and like creating these smaller echo chambers, I guess, of like fan bases, which, you know, 5-10 years ago when I was starting off, like there was nothing
Well,
like
yeah, 'cause
that.
you
Like,
could be like, oh, are you watching this?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the public zeitgeist of like Jujutsu Kaisen fans, I don't even think they know what a free ren is. Like a
No.
lot of them. But I also think that like there is this weird genre of anime fans who think that other, like, if they watch like a show like Jujutsu Kaisen or these kind of very, very, very triple A shonen titles, they still think that like something like free ren is weeb shit.
yeah.
They're like, that's fucking gross weeb
Yeah.
shit. I'm gonna go watch Jujutsu Kaisen now where the panda uses the sorcery magic. You know what I mean? It's kind of bizarre. Like, it's kind of, I have seen this sentiment.
There are so many anime
online.
fans
It's so
like that
weird.
caliber now that just think that anime is shonen shit, and everything else is like, as you said, it's like
strange.
it's like we are not the same.
Because
You know?
I've
Like-
legitimately seen people who are like memeing Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm like, I like who then have no knowledge of what like a free ren or a
Yeah.
Puck 3 Diaries is.
Yeah.
Which is so insane to me because this 5 years ago, this is just if
No.
you watched any of these shows, you knew about all the other big shows
Yeah.
that were happening at the same time.
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of like what's almost happening in this example is that like, but there's also multiple layers to this. Like, I think a lot of people who are pissed off about X streamer or X content creator getting a sponsorship to X game or watch along X game, yeah, X games. Oh god, like this one, it's like okay, but I'm not defending him because I don't care, but from the perspective of like how these ad agencies work and how these deals work, a lot of the times. Whoever publishes Like a Dragon or whatever will just go to a big ad agency and be like, find me a bunch of creators who are going to play my game. Here's the budget. Just go and find as many.
Yeah.
And then there's agents. So now the agents are vying. So there's probably like
multiple layers. Yeah.
it's not like the Like a Dragon creators went, we want X. I mean, that does happen though. That
Yeah.
can happen.
Yeah. That can happen.
Yeah.
It's very rare though that does happen.
Yeah.
What probably happened is that there was budget flying around. Some agent managed to convince some agency, and then
Yep.
that's how it ended up happening.
Yep.
For sure.
And I think people are mad, and I think that's fair. I think it's that there is some justification to being mad that some content creators get to.
Hey, it's fine. The game is out now.
It's
if,
out,
if
yeah.
you don't want to watch X stream,
But then
you
it's
can just play
also,
it.
but then it's also dumb as fuck because you can also just not watch.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't. Yeah, like again, like I get why people are angry at this, but at the same time, it's like it's not like this kind of content is being like thrown in your face where you have it's where it's like TV and it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
You know, like you can choose just not to watch this stream.
Oh, also, I think as this article points out, one of the things people were very annoyed about is that he had been very negative towards these types of games in the past.
Right.
Which I think
So it's a little contradictory.
it's kind of insulting,
Yeah.
to fans who, which I think that's completely valid.
Yeah, I think
I think
so.
it's being annoyed about this in that context is very annoying, especially if he has called them trash, which this article is claiming.
Yeah. Also, I want to give a quick shout out while we're on that topic of the fact that my friend is in this game.
Oh yeah,
Sophie.
Sophie's in it, right?
Oh shit.
You can date Sophie in the game.
Also, I think is Kason in this one too? Is it?
No,
it's the other one,
Kason
right?
was in the
Sorry.
other one. Yeah.
She's in this one too.
She's I think she's in there's a bar portion of the game.
Yeah, right. She's
Oh,
one of the.
was it this game? I thought it was the previous one.
Dude, there's so many Yakuza.
There is, yeah.
I mean, there's like 10 now, isn't
Yeah,
there?
what's confusing is that haven't they released like 2 or 3 different games now in the space of like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
very short period
Yeah.
of time?
Yeah.
How am I
Well, they've
keeping-
done remakes of old
Yeah,
games
what
as
the
well.
fuck? I'm trying to keep track, and I
Yeah.
don't know. Kayson's in one of them, and I'm like, which one are you in, Kayson?
Yeah.
So Kayson's in in the previous one, guys.
The seven
Okay,
Gaiden,
okay.
right? Yeah.
And she's also in this one as like a character in the game.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
She's like one of the. Is it like a Kabakura or
Yeah,
something? Kind
like-
of. Okay. Which is so fucking funny. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
She's like an actual character in this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
because
fucking
Sophie is in this one, but it's like actually a picture of Sophie.
Yeah,
like,
I
in
saw it.
real
It's
life.
like a-
it's a dating app, like
Right.
part of the game, and one of the girls you can date on the dating app is literally just a picture of my friend
That's so
Sophie,
fucking funny.
which is really funny.
so
So,
fucking
good on
cool.
you, Soph.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Again, like, dude, JRPG fans are eating so well in February because we have P3R, we have Yakuza 8, we got fucking Grand Blue, we got Final Fantasy 7. God, when does it end? I don't have time to play all these games, bro.
You actually do not. You you actually don't.
But I
have-
will find the time
You'll
to
have
do
the
it.
time in the entirety of 2024.
The year, yeah.
Yeah.
This is why, like, man, it's stressful being a gaming fan now because like everyone's arguing at each other. Like, you got to play this, you didn't play this game. It's like I only have so many hours in this.
Anime fans are like, first time.
I'm trying to be a JRPG fan, and I'm trying to be a gaming fan. I'm trying to be a film fan. I'm trying to be.
Now you know why JRPG fans are literally just JRPG.
Just JRPG
No,
fans.
like, that's just why, and it's like it feels impossible now to be multifaceted in media and like being able
totally.
to enjoy multiple media.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm trying my best to be all of the above.
Yeah, because
I go to the movies like every week as well, and I still feel like I'm behind on movies.
You don't want
like.
to, but you don't want to spread yourself out too thin. Right?
yeah.
Just
Just do what you enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, that's what
Fuck
entertainment
the zeitgeist.
should be.
What-
Fuck keeping up with
I-
whatever
Yeah.
is current.
I had this like
Yeah.
epiphany where I was like, no, I think I'm actually a gaming addict. I think I can't stop gaming. Like I think I'm genuinely addicted to gaming. It's all I want to do in my free time.
That's fair. All I want to do is listen to music.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I just want to watch anime. That's
We are same but different.
we're same but different. You know, I might
I'm-
go out and do some, different things.
Yeah.
You know, watch Hazbin Hotel the other day.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Really?
You watched
I
Hazbin Hotel?
I-
Is it good?
I am not the target audience. For
Okay,
it.
I don't know anything about
All
this.
I know is
I know
that-
the name,
all I-
and the fan base is kind of notorious.
I don't. Yeah, I know nothing about it, but all I see is that people get pissed off about Twitter. I don't know
Yeah.
about what, but I see people get pissed off, and I don't know what because it
Yeah.
means nothing.
I don't know anything about what's going on Twitter. I mean,
No,
Twitter's
it's fucking
pissed off against.
stupid.
Twitter's pissed
Yeah, I
off
know,
against
I
like
know. They
everything
get-
now.
No, but I feel that's one of those fan bases where you hear so often, and the only times I hear about it is because some controversy is happening within the community.
I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea.
I can understand maybe why, because this kind of show, I think that with how many eyes it has on it and the kind of people that this kind of show attracts, there's going to be a lot of discussions about a lot of things, especially on a platform like Twitter. I came into it because Sydney showed me the pilot fucking years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm not really like, musicals aren't really my thing. Actually, I might slowly be.
See, I didn't even know it was a musical.
Yeah. So okay, here's the thing. It's kind of like its selling point is that it's an adult musical kind of.
Okay.
Kind of like it's an adult animated musical.
Sure.
Right. About these characters in hell that want to get promoted to heaven, basically.
Okay.
And that's kind of like the
It's kind of cool concept.
kind of like the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
It's got a really cool aesthetic. I really like the aesthetic. And I wasn't really into musicals until I saw Hamilton with Dylas and Emily, and I didn't like it at first. And then I just found myself continually quoting it every so often.
Dude,
And
Hamilton
I'm
is such a good musical.
like,
It's like unironically a banger musical.
Don't really like musicals.
I don't really like musicals either.
I'm picky and choosy with musicals, but Hamilton was goated.
Hamilton, I think, worked for me because it just felt like a meme.
That's why I didn't want to watch it because it felt so. People were so upset about everything, like they were because they like it so much, and they were getting so angry about people not liking it, and I was like, man, I don't-
Dude, the raps are fire though.
Oh, okay.
I will say that. The songs are kind of fire, but they're also kind of funny at the same time.
There's this one song in Hamilton where it's a song that revolves entirely around writing essays, right?
Okay.
And they try to hype up this moment where, like, okay, Hamilton wrote all of these documents, and like they were like, okay, we're writing these essays, all right? We're writing these documents. We split into 3 people, all right? This guy, he wrote 5 essays. This guy, he wrote 10 essays, and then everything and then he pauses for a second. And then Hamilton wrote 21 essays. I can't remember the exact number, but I remember hearing that. And the moment it's propped up at this moment being like, oh shit, mans can write. I don't know. It's just the right amount of campiness that.
Okay, that's
It's like if your English teacher was in a rap battle, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, but you wrote 21 essays, you're weak. Oh! All these like dudes in like 17th, 16th century clothing just being like, oh shit!
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So I don't know. Like at the beginning, I walked out of Hamilton and I'm like, it was alright. And then like I keep thinking about certain moments in it, and I'm like, okay, that's a lot of it stick out.
it's
to me.
worth something.
Yeah, so I ended up watching a bit of Hazbin Hotel with Sydney because we were both like curious about it. And one thing it made me realize, right? Because as I said, it's meant to be like an adult musical.
Sure.
So there is a lot of swearing in it.
Okay.
And it made me realize how weird it is to hear, especially like an American.
I knew you were going to say this, yeah.
An American piece of media, like a fictional media,
Swearing so much.
with so much swearing in it.
Sure.
And I don't know, I kind of didn't like it.
Really? Because like
Doesn't suit the American
I don't know.
dialect as well. you think?
Sometimes you hear a sitcom and
Well, what about like South Park? That has a lot of swearing in it.
I feel like South Park kind of works because it's kids in a weird way.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
Because it
right,
feels
right.
like
It feels more
I
crude.
could believe 13-year-old kids wanting to swear all the fucking time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
think
Americans
they're
are-
like 10 in the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah, like
I
this-
feel like it's so preposterous and
Yeah.
so
That's true.
ridiculous that it works.
Yeah, I don't know, because like,
Also, South Park has its own weird kind of.
sometimes I see like a fucking Guy Ritchie film or something.
Yeah.
And, it works for something like that. You hear it in like a British, Irish,
if you just go to the
Australian
pub
accent.
in the UK, you hear
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it just adds, I don't know, it adds character to it.
Yeah.
Whereas, with just a neutral American accent, like if you see like a New York accent or Boston accent, all right, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that fits. But just like a neutral American accent that you'd normally hear on like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Sure.
And you're hearing like characters say fuck. And I remember there was one moment where one of the characters dropped a C-bomb,
Yeah.
and me and Sydney just like, we literally just like felt it in our bodies. We're like, oh, we just shut it. Like, oh, did you hear the filthy language?
That is
was-
So
definitely.
you think it's aight?
Huh?
It's just aight?
So I've seen the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
It's aight.
Right,
It's
fair enough.
if you're into musicals, I think that
Yeah.
this definitely this
I
is a
can't wait for
different
the
take on it.
Hazbin Hotel
I mean,
community
the-
to
part-
come and
part of-
defend themselves.
I don't fucking care, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care either,
I
but-
don't think also people who watch on YouTube give a fuck. I think it's just sometimes our clips can find their way on Twitter and people are like, what the fuck did these guys say?
Yeah. I mean, the reason we ended up watching it was because of that big meme of that one YouTuber who paid $50K.
Oh my
to
God,
do the
yeah.
Hazbin
That's
Hotel
fucking funny.
animation.
Oh my God.
Okay. Conspiracy theory time. That controversy came out just as Hazbin Hotel was being released. Like,
Oh,
Well,
you
I
think it was
don't
an
know.
inside job?
I don't know.
Is it an inside job?
I don't know, man.
I think the story probably took up because people were probably very interested in Hazbin Hotel. And it
Yeah.
probably just was like
Right.
the Venn diagram of fucking interesting, weird story to pop off.
I remember our friend D sent me that on Discord. And
That was fucking crazy.
He was just in all caps. He just said, "What is blood doing?"
Props to him. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, if you got 50 bands to spend on gooning, I think respect.
I'm like,
I
it
mean-
wasn't even hardcore.
it wasn't even hardcore.
It's like some. It was like
50K
a.
to goon is wild.
It was like a. It was like a.
It's wild.
It's like a Mariah Carey music video. It was just sensual enough for some people, you know.
yeah.
I mean-
Just was it YouTube safe? It's just about YouTube. safe,
Just
isn't it?
about on the
Yeah.
cusp.
Yeah. But it was because of that me and Sydney got curious, and I was just like, wait a minute. Wait, this just released like today as this,
Right.
all of
That's
this.
pretty
is
See,
wild.
out.
because that's
Yeah.
interesting because I had the opposite effect of that, where I watched that and I'm like, I'm not watching this show. if this is what the result of that
Yeah.
show is and that fan base is, not to say all the fan base is like that, but
Yeah.
I think standalone like kind of controversies like that in any kind of like media franchise,
Yeah.
fan base, like
Yeah.
when that shit pops out, you're kind of just like, I'm sure this is an exception, but it had to come from somewhere,
Yeah.
right? So it makes me afraid to like step into that fan base immediately from
Yeah,
there.
but I mean, like, huge props to the creator, because the creator of Hazbin Hotel, I mean, the only reason I know about Hazbin Hotel is basically because of Sydney. And just, seeing like her work on this for years since like finishing art college or something, because she's about like our age, I think.
Right.
She started off, I don't know the entire lore of Hazbin Hotel, but I know she either posted her work on Tumblr or early YouTube, and it just fucking blew up.
Hell yeah.
And seeing like a content creator, just with pure passion work on this one project for ages and be able to sell it to Amazon Prime and
You'll have to
still
see it.
have like a big hand in it.
I know there was a lot of controversies for whatever reason. Maybe they're just getting angry about stuff for the sake of getting angry. But I know that
Yeah.
they I think when it went to Amazon, they replaced the whole cast.
Yeah, they did.
Which I think annoyed a lot of people as
Oh.
well.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. I mean, that's generally a not a good move to do, but I'm not sure. Sometimes shows have requirements that could be like, hey, everyone has to be union, or hey, I don't know why. Seems odd, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, it still ended up being successful, right?
Other note,
So-
I watched a musical. I didn't know it was a musical. And I watched the new Willy Wonka movie.
Oh,
Is that a musical? Oh
I
guess it is a
did. I
musical.
didn't. I've watched the original. I never think of Willy Wonka as a
Oompa
musical.
Loompas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never think of it as a.
Yeah, same here.
there's a lot of musical numbers in that. Yeah,
And so I watched it, and surprisingly pretty good.
Timothy
Yeah,
Chalamet.
it was pretty fun.
Chalamet.
Actually, not to be that guy. I felt like he was the weakest part of the film.
Really?
I don't know if I'm crazy. Wonka's a weird guy to me, and he plays him as like this kind of could do nothing wrong, fun, happy guy.
Right.
And I feel like Wonka in the original film, the Gene Wilder film, is such a fucking weird. You've all watched it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's such a weird dude.
Gene Wilder,
and he
Wonka
comes
is
off as
amazing.
almost like not sinister, but like he's a kind of fucked up dude in the film.
Oh yeah,
Like his
he
chocolate
kills
fac-
children.
Yeah, well, he's very.
He's a child murderer.
It's like he's kind of just an uncomfortable. Like I think we all know someone or met someone who's like really nice, but also kind of gives you a weird vibe. And I feel like that's what Wonka would be in real life. Like you're like, I don't know why Wonka gives me the creeps, but there should be a creep there. But the cast is really good.
Wonka's the kind of dude to like laugh at awkward situations.
You know the main bad guy is Johnson from Peep Show. And he's so
Really?
good. Yeah, he's so good. So many really good British actors that I love. And so
Rowan
it was really fun.
Atkinson, Hugh Grant,
Olivia Colman, isn't it?
Colman.
The actors are really good, but yeah, Hugh Grant plays the Oompa Loompa, which is
Yeah.
which is an interesting choice.
And then Keegan Michael Key is
Oh,
in
Rowan
this as well.
Atkinson's in that.
Yeah. Can you type in Hugh Grant Oompa Loompa? It's very bizarre.
Yeah, I saw it in the trailer.
fucking weird.
Like, I remember the first time I saw this trailer because Aki really wanted to watch it. I did a fucking double take when I saw Hugh Grant because he's right at the end of the trailer. I was just like, that's
it was
Hugh
an
Grant.
odd choice going
That's
for
Hugh
Hugh
Grant.
Grant and making him.
I love it.
Look
at him.
Yeah, I don't understand this choice, but hey, it was cool and it was fun. I actually kind of liked Hugh Grant as this character,
Yeah.
but it did strike me as kind of odd.
He's like a Giga Chad Oompa Loompa.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of like a fucking Navy SEAL jack of all trades in this movie for some reason.
Right.
But it was a fun movie, nonetheless.
Okay.
Much better than I thought it was going to be. And you know what? It was dead. There was no... I was just me in this movie theater.
Really?
And it was like the week it released in Japan. So I guess they have no fucking interest in this film.
I don't think Willy Wonka is even like a well-established character that Japanese people know of.
Well, here's
right?
what's funny is that I asked my Japanese friend, I was like, hey, do you want to go watch the new Willy Wonka film? And they were like, yeah, I've seen the original. I really like not Jack Black.
Johnny Depp.
I really like Johnny Depp in the original. I was like, well,
That's not the original.
I was like, no. I was like, that's not the original. And then it occurred to me that most people only know Willy Wonka from Johnny Depp.
The Tim Burton film.
Yeah, they only know that version. They didn't even know there was the Gene Wilder version.
Which, to be honest, compared to the Gene Wilder version, not that great in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched. I think I
only
watched
seen
it
the
once.
Gene Wilder version.
Yeah,
seen
I
the
think
Johnny
most people
Depp
in
version.
America and the UK have only watched the Gene Wilder
Yeah.
version, which is very iconic.
Well, it's because, like, as much as I like Johnny Depp, I don't think he was a very good... I don't know. I think the Johnny Depp Wonka film just felt too much like a Tim Burton film. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where it's
yeah.
like, it was so iconically Tim Burton that you're like, oh yeah, I forgot this is a fucking Willy Wonka film.
Yeah.
But you know what was full? I went to watch another movie. Full. Could not, like, it was so hard to get a seat. And you will not guess which film it was. It was Reservoir Dogs.
Wait, what?
Yeah. They were playing Reservoir Dogs in a Japanese, in Shinjuku, like one of the Shinjuku theaters. And
Wait, Japanese film goes kind of based though?
like I
mean, I would wanna watch it.
Even though Quentin Tarantino is one of my favorite filmmakers, I'd actually never watched Reservoir Dogs.
Really?
So
You've never seen it?
I just never got round to it. I don't know
what
why.
do you think of it?
It's funny. I just showed
great.
Cindy it a month ago. She's
It's
never
fucking
watched it
amazing.
either.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
it's
fucking
amazing.
good.
But it was insane because I kind of rocked up I'd rocked up 10 minutes late from the screening time. Pretty much the movie just started. Literally, I walked in as they were doing the walk.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed the cafe
Oh, you missed the
scene.
cafe scene.
Yeah, and I went home and watched the cafe scene, which I liked as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was really fun. But I missed the cafe scene because I was late because I was trying to buy Emily some early birthday presents because I found a strawberry thing that was perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was late and I walked in and dude, it was like a mission itself getting in my seat because it was totally full.
Damn.
And I was kind of shocked because I haven't seen Japanese theaters this full since I watched Godzilla Minus One.
Right.
And even before then, I hadn't seen a full theater. But it was, insane. Full movie for Reservoir
Based.
Dogs
Based.
in this year insane. It was a great movie as well. And it was really cool getting to watch. I feel like a film like this on the big screen. I feel like when you watch kind of these old, it's kind of weird because when you watch the classics, you kind of forget that we never really will ever get the chance to experience them in the theater.
Sure.
God, there are so many films I would love to experience in the theater.
Yeah.
Like even like something like Inglourious Bastards or Pulp Fiction. I'd love to be able to get the
Pulp
chance to
Fiction.
watch
I'd love to watch it
on the
theater.
big screen with a popcorn, like movie popcorn. And it was really cool getting to watch that. I don't know why Japan does this. Why do they just randomly, I know this is very common in the UK and America. They often have some theaters that just replay classics.
Yeah.
Which please keep
Do that
doing.
more,
Keep doing that.
I know a lot of smaller theaters in Japan do that for
Yeah.
you know, select films, but only with very, very limited
This is a
capacity.
huge theater. This
Oh,
is
really?
huge.
Right.
It's the Shinjuku Walled. It's one of the it's
Not the Godzilla one.
opposite the Toho one.
Oh, yes.
So you kind of walk down the street and it's
towards
there. It's
Sanchome,
huge.
right?
Yeah, it's in Sanchome.
Yeah.
And I go there quite a lot because it's just easy.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Because they got it's
So
kind
I
of
saw
great.
the Ava film there, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of great. They play so many films, and if the good thing about that area is that if you want to watch movies in Japan, which I recommend doing actually, because it's much better than Europe. I think America is actually better. America figured out the ideal cinema experience.
Of course.
Because they're like full relaxed chairs. Actually, Shinjuku they opened up the Kabukicho Tower, this giant fucking tower that's got tons of cool thing, and they have their own premium cinema. I do quotation marks because I
Is it not premium?
well, it's kind of hard to think of it as like they're marketing this as like the Giga Chad goated theater experience of Japan.
I mean, it's pretty big.
And it is cool. And there's a section that costs like $100.
Right.
10,000 yen nearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 80, 70 bucks.
So it's about $60, right? $60, $70. And what you get in is that you get your own booth. And before it, you get a lounge experience. So you can go to this lounge, have a drink.
Right.
Popcorn is free.
So it's like a business lounge at an airport, but
It's
at a
kind of
cinema.
kind of imagine a business lounge, and then you can. This is it. Yeah, this is it.
It's literally a business lounge at an airport.
And so you can just have unlimited popcorn, and it's kind of small though.
Yeah.
And so here's where this is honestly the sole reason I don't go back is because you can only take one popcorn into the theater. And it's kind of small, and you can't refill it once the movie starts. And it's
What?
And for me, it's like, dude, I want popcorn throughout. I will buy like way more popcorn than I need because I just want to be going at it. But you get these booths that are. It's kind of, I don't know if you can type in Kabukicho Tower Cinema booth chairs. You get this booth and it reclines, but it only reclines like a desk chair amount. It doesn't fully recline like the American ones. I can basically lie down.
Yeah.
And I feel like for the amount I'm paying, it's not really worth.
I mean, there's not even a picture.
I'm sure it's
for it.
like premium for Japan, right?
For Japan, it's premium.
Yeah.
But I feel like for $60, it's kind of not worth. It's none of those. Those are the basic chairs, which are pretty good. They recline a little bit amount. But there's one. Oh, is that it there? Up. No, you have it. Two more. One more. Yeah, this is it. That's the booth.
Oh, okay.
But it only reclines like an average desk chair would recline. Like this, your legs go up a little bit, but not. It's at the angle that's like economy on a plane.
Yeah.
Where it just
right.
it reclines, but it's just like not enough to like.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm still definitely sitting upright.
It's kind of like halfway.
And the legs only come out slightly, so
Yeah.
you don't even feel like your legs are really being suspended by the chair.
Right.
You're still like, it's in this weird halfway where
You're
you're
in like limbo.
yeah, and I don't know, this is such a nitpick, but I think for $60, you should be like giving me, like in America, I could pay $20 for a full reclining, godlike fucking like chair that's amazing, and I can fucking go ham. And then obviously I have to pay separately for the popcorn and all that stuff. But then afterwards, they have this, actually it's kind of cool. After the cinema, there is this lounge you can go to, a different lounge. If you pay extra for the S tier, you go to the top of the Kabukicho Tower basically, and there is this kind of other lounge that is just like
Overlooks.
there's a giant window, and you can just see I think Nishi Shinjuku Station, all the trains going, and see like a really cool view of Shinjuku.
Wait, what?
Oh, that's it.
Wait,
That's
so
it.
hold on.
No, down. That one. Yeah, click it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
I mean, that's cool and all, but like,
You get one free drink.
but,
It's an alcoholic. It can be alcoholic.
I mean, okay, look, that's cool. I get it, kind of. But at the same time, it's like, what are you going to do? Like, you just finished watching a film, right?
Here's what I think the idea is.
What are you going to do? You're going to sit there in the lounge and being like, so what did you gentlemen think about the movie?
I think that's the point. I think the point
it?
is
Like
that
it's
you
just
watch
like
the film.
you discuss it.
Yeah,
You know?
I think you watch the. So let's say
Put your beret on.
Let's say you go for dinner and then you go and watch the movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's meant to be like the date. Like it's the.
I see.
I actually like. I kind of vibe with that because
it was kind of nice.
you know, like sometimes I do not like when you plan a cinema day with your mates or something.
Then you all just leave.
And then you watch the film, you like hype up the film, and then everyone's like, all right, I'm going to go home now. And I'm like, I feel like I've missed half of the experience because
Yeah.
the whole point of watching with mates is so you can banter about it afterwards. If I wasn't going to do that, I would have just gone by myself, you know?
But I banter about it on the way to the station.
Sorry?
I banter.
Maybe
about
what
it
if it's
on
a
the way to
really
the
good
station.
film and you
Yeah,
need
yeah.
like 2 hours to unpack it with
Well,
the
then
boys?
what I'll do is I'll go to like a cafe near the station.
Oh yeah, okay. So this one you have to book it beforehand. But yeah, you get. I think you get.
Yeah, what if it's a shit film and you're just like
Yeah.
stuck in the lounge
you
being
get-
like,
well, you
it
get-
was all right.
You get one free drink. It's gonna be any alcoholic beverage you please, and then afterwards I think you have to pay. But
Yeah,
I
but
think.
I'd rather go to an izakaya afterwards and get
No, yeah, I
as
think-
many
Yeah,
alcoholic
yeah,
drinks
yeah,
as you
that's
want, you know?
That's it.
What if
like,
you want to have a hard limit? You're like, I want to be
Yeah.
around this person for 1 hour max.
Yeah.
let's give.
Then
give
maybe
myself an
don't
hour.
go to the cinemas with them.
Well, no, that's why I think like it's a pretty good date if you wanted to do it because it's like okay, you can have the dinner or whatever, or you can just go to the cinema, have the lounge before, and then have the
Yeah.
lounge after.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
And then you can just have the, if you want to keep.
I'd do it if it was a little cheaper. I think $60 is quite a
It's
bit.
kind of okay value. I just think that I really value a good chair and popcorn.
But from what you've
gamer talk,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I do.
But from what you have described, it's not even that good of a chair.
Yeah.
It
It would have been perfect if it had a better chair.
it's
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not kidding. It's the popcorn. It's a deal breaker for me. The fact that I can't get more popcorn.
That is true.
I refuse to go to the cinema if I know, because during the pandemic they weren't serving popcorn at a lot
Yeah.
of the cinemas, which okay, sure,
Yeah.
but I just didn't want to go because if I can't have the popcorn, I don't want to go. Genuinely, I know that's so dumb, but that's part of the experience for me, and having to be able to like eat that salted popcorn,
Yeah.
and the butter.
Do you buy popcorn when you go to the cinema?
I know you guys don't, but for me, that is
go for
so
the film,
so
baby.
crucial to my cinema going experience.
My reason why I don't like ordering popcorn at a cinema is because, as you said, right? It's usually like the salted popcorn, right? I don't
fuck
get any of the fucking soy sauce flavored shit, like all the consomme shit. Fuck that, right?
I like
you get
consomme.
it's all right, but like I prefer like just the regular salted popcorn,
Yeah.
right? Maybe with like a bit of butter if you're in America.
Yeah.
But what I don't like is that you're eating all this popcorn, right? Tastes great, fucking amazing, but it's also salty, so you got to have a drink with it.
Yeah, of course.
My tiny bladder can't hold in a piss if I start drinking in a
Oh, no,
cinema.
I just
So
go- I just go-
I know that if I have a bottle of water, even if it's like something this size, right?
Yeah.
And I drink half of that shit, and halfway into the film, I'm gonna be like, fuck, I'm gonna piss my pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which results me in missing some of the film, which maybe I
it's
don't
like-
want to miss.
It's like 2 minutes. It's like not that bad.
no, I don't want to. Well, what if it's
I-
like an amazing film? I don't want to
always-
miss any
I
of it.
always go and get because Japan they do half and half
Right.
popcorn, so you get caramel and salted. So I always get the half and half, and it comes with 2 medium-sized drinks.
I
And
think
that's
caramel
perfect.
popcorn's just all right.
No, but I love the distinction between the 2 flavors that I'm eating. I love the popcorn.
This man's describing popcorn like a Michelin
Dude,
plate dish.
to me, it's so crucial, and it's really affordable. It's like 1,200 yen for that, and like that in the UK, that'd be like a mortgage and 15.
Oh
pounds.
yeah.
Like it's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
and so
Oh, I mean, I don't have a problem with like the price or anything, or
Yeah.
people who eat it. I personally just don't do it because I know that I'm
love
gonna have to
trash.
take a piss break in the middle, and maybe I don't want to.
did you guys watch Godzilla Minus One by the way?
I have not.
Oh, it's so fucking good. So
I've
you guys should
heard.
watch it.
I've heard.
It's really good.
Does
Yeah.
it beat the hype, you reckon?
Yeah, it's a really good film. I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
that the only thing that I kind of felt like it did a little, it tried to have too many happy endings when it was a really like sad film, and it
Yeah.
kind of tied things up a little too well, I think. But that's like literally my only criticism. It was a really good film, and it, like
Did you see Shin Godzilla at all?
no, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Shin
okay.
Godzilla was awesome.
That was amazing.
But it's kind of refreshing because I kind of had felt that a lot of Japanese films for a while I was really struggling to enjoy, and it was really cool to have. It was really,
you know they bring out all the stops for Godzilla, man.
dude. It was great because it just I mean, honestly, it's so rare as well to have. I feel like Japanese media kind of just be like, yeah, the government is fucking incompetent. And it was
Is
kind
that
of cool.
what Godzilla Minus One was about?
It was kind of like about. It was.
That's
more
what the
about,
entire Godzilla franchise is about.
Well, it was more about how in the wake of World War II, how a lot of the rebuilding was up to the individual people and the communities coming together, as opposed to hoping that at least in this, obviously in this story, that they weren't relying on any. They were like, yeah, the government isn't going to do shit. We got to get it done.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool and like uplifting story with a lot of heartache and just really well told and fantastic acting. Like really good acting for a Japanese film.
It's so interesting to see the dichotomy between how Godzilla is treated in Japan versus how Godzilla is treated in like Hollywood movies.
Right.
Like, have you seen like the trailer for the latest Godzilla movie that's coming out?
Which one?
The one where he...
Another one?
There's another one.
What the fuck?
Where it's Godzilla and Kong. And they have this shot.
Again?
They
How
have
many
this shot.
rematches?
They have no. They team up this time.
Oh,
And there's this shot of Godzilla and Kong running like they.
Oh wait, I've seen this. I've seen this,
like they're coming into like a WWE match or some shit like that.
I think Godzilla is.
And from the red corner, it's Kong and Godzilla.
I think obviously there's some benefit to keeping your IP in a certain direction.
Yeah.
But I also think that Godzilla is iconic and long-standing enough where you can have the fucking Pacific Rim-esque King Kong Godzilla.
Yeah.
And you can also have the serious storytelling of Godzilla Minus One.
Japan treats it as like, how they originally did it with the 50s movie, which is like, the anti-nuclear messaging,
Yeah, it's great.
anti-government messaging, all that
And
kind
I
of
think
stuff. And then the West, Hollywood was just like, big Godzilla fights another big monster and he fucks them up.
But I think that's why it works so well, is that because of the World War II setting, rebuilding after it with the anti-nuclear sentiment of
Wait, is it,
Godzilla,
what is it
works
called?
really
Godzilla X Kong. What is this, a Dojin?
The new empire.
Basically.
My favorite shipping. Godzilla
The
and
new
Kong.
empire.
The new empire.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think-
Godzilla
yeah,
looks
works well.
fucking sick in that new visual.
Yeah, it's sick. It's just a very different take of Godzilla.
Yeah. You guys should watch Minus One.
I really
I
want
really
to.
want to,
Yeah,
yeah,
I've heard
'cause,
really good things about it.
I heard good things, and I really fucking enjoyed Shin Godzilla as well, which is also similar, where it's like a criticism towards the government, specifically their reaction towards the Fukushima incident, and they use kind of Godzilla as
With
the
an
metaphor.
with a good old Anno twist.
Yeah,
as
with
well.
a good old Anno twist.
But other than that, I've put like 40 hours into Palworld.
Of course, Palworld, the big thing that has.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, what a shit show on Twitter. It's crazy because like what's funny is that I talk to people who aren't on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What? I just played the game with it. It was kind of cool." And I was like, there's like a whole shitstorm going on.
I think that's most things nowadays.
But it's making me appreciate how isolated Twitter has become in terms of public discourse.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of people who I guess it kind of felt like news used to be on Twitter and discussion used to be on there, but now it seems to be more so that Twitter is slowly becoming just rage and what people are angry about.
All right.
And this has been the peak example of that, especially with the amount of misinformation going around.
Yeah.
You want to know a conspiracy theory?
Okay,
that
tell
I
me,
actually,
Okay.
like think might be actually happening.
Yeah.
You heard about like the dead internet theory?
I think I've heard of
Oh,
this.
that they're all like bots?
Yeah, that's I think 90% of replies and interactions you see online are bots. And the more I browse Twitter, the more I'm like, wait a minute. Let me get my tinfoil. I know we had an entire episode on conspiracy theories, but I think this one, I'm just like, yeah. The dead internet theory is the online conspiracy theory that asserts that the internet now consists mainly of bot activity and automatically generated content that is manipulated by algorithmic curation. And I'm like, this is just Twitter to a T.
I mean, it just feels that way because people you're talking to are brain dead.
I mean, if it had...
That's the thing. I actually like genuinely can't tell if people are brain dead or if there are bots, because I like, how can you tell the difference?
I think
we need to do like a Turing test on all of these like accounts, bro. We need to see.
I just think the worst change they made was basically how Twitter handles replies and handling paid users to appear higher up.
Yeah.
Bro, when I see a blue check mark now, I'm like, are you a person or are you a bot?
But it just kind of ruined it, and it
tell.
made it seem that, man, it just made it a lot worse because it felt like before when something kind of reasonable or an argument was being made that was more reasonable.
Yeah.
Often, people would kind of be like, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And it's not inflammatory. It would kind of go to the top, and it kind of felt like there was more discourse. Whereas now it's more like, okay, you have a check mark. You saying something abhorrent gets to the front.
Yeah.
Or you're you just throwing around accusations goes to the top or whatever. And
Well, I think the new check mark on Twitter now is not the blue tick. It's the thing next to the blue tick, which is like, this account is associated with this legitimate company, which is what
And
we
also-
are. Right? Like, that's the new one
also
now.
quote retweets. I think quote retweets is probably one of the, like that becoming a huge thing, became one of the worst things.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Because it kind of helped in the start to kind of people who had turned off replies or were blocking people. It was kind of helpful for allowing people to kind of call out bad actors. And then it slowly became this kind of dunking trend where now it's all about dunking or ratioing.
Was a fun thing until every tweet was a ratio.
Everyone's trying to one up each other. Everyone's trying to dunk on it, and you're almost rewarded for spreading just fucking
Like, it's
wrong
not even,
information.
it doesn't even have to be like something opinionated that you quote retweeting, but like, you can just like, it can just be like, oh, I had a nice day today, and then it's just someone quote tweeting with L plus ratio, you went outside.
Yeah.
Like,
But like, right or wrong, it's just been absolutely fascinating and also super depressing just seeing the discourse around this game where everyone is just arguing about a different thing and no one
discourse about.
so I had,
oh my god.
Okay,
okay.
I had heard about this game coming out before it actually got released. Right?
I should have prepared a timeline for you.
But I have not played the game. I've only seen images of it.
Okay, so this game,
It's Pokemon with guns, right?
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
for the lack of a better word.
Yes.
So this game kind of comes out of nowhere. For example,
Yeah.
this trailer starts picking up some steam 2 or 3 days before.
Yeah.
Some creators start getting codes and people start playing it and realizing, hey, this is pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then it starts to slowly gain an audience. The game releases and starts selling like crazy. And then this is now where the eyes of because I feel like when a game does well, it does whatever. But then when a game does well to the point where people who don't care about games are starting to look at it, that's when stuff starts to happen.
Sure.
And obviously, it is worryingly similar to not just Pokemon, but a lot of games.
Sure.
For example, you open a chest. It sounds very similar to Breath of the Wild. You discover a new location. Very similar to Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
You fight monsters. Feels very similar to Monster Hunter.
It's like an AI generated game almost.
But yeah, and it looks, well, because it's got that Unreal Engine look.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got this Unreal
Unreal Engine
look.
5, right? I think. This
Yes.
one?
So it's got, this is like, and the problem is that because a lot of asset flips get put into those type of engines. So this kind of has a bad stigma. So it doesn't look kind of bad, but it's very, very, very similar to Pokemon Arceus.
Right.
But then there's some locations that look like they've ripped it out of Elden Ring.
Right.
There's some places that, I mean, and then it started this whole discourse then of where, because it was such a popular thing, this Twitter kind of, and also because you have to remember now, people get paid for having tweets that get seen a lot.
That's the worst.
Which is a hard move, which is probably the worst thing that Twitter could have ever done.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that incentivizing people to get views on Twitter and not just like have a discourse, but like actively reward money, because then that means people, there's no kind of, you're not like holding yourself accountable for any reason, because before it was just your platform. It was like, but now it's like there are people out there who have no desire to have any kind of shame or be affected by that. It's purely like, how do I make as much money as possible?
Sure.
And the ad revenue is shit, by the way.
Yeah.
I got paid like $19 last month from X.
Really?
Paid?
Yeah, you could sign up for it.
No,
I was curious.
I have as well. I think the most I got paid in a month.
Getting paid?
All of December, I got $19.
I think December I got paid something similar, like $25 or
So
something.
basically, what ended up happening is that people were starting to look at it, and people have noticed that it looked very.
Garnt's just like held up with the fact that we're getting.
Wait, you guys are getting paid?
I got like $19.
We got
like,
pocket change from Elon.
I got one Uber Eats.
Yeah, it was like 2 meals.
So obviously you look at these and you see, okay, wow, there is some kind of inspiration.
Sure.
Whether it's plagiarism or not became a huge argument. And that was like the day one argument was, is this copying Pokemon too much?
Yeah.
Day two argument was, they're using AI, because the Japanese creator was kind of, was pretty vocal about being somewhat supportive of some AI projects. But there's no proof that there's AI in the game.
Sure.
But of course, Twitter ran with it and started saying that kind of stuff. Whether or not there is or not, there might be by the time this game comes out. By the time this video comes out, there might be proven that there is. But the point is that I guess, and then a lot of people got annoyed that it was kind of being unfairly accused of using AI and maybe stealing, for example, some mesh models. But then there was someone later admitted the guy who had compared the meshes between a Pokemon and a PAL, he had resized or kind of done something.
Yeah.
There was this whole weird thing where everyone was arguing different arguments all at the same time. And then there was a fan base of people who were like, I don't care what the fuck they did as long as they make Nintendo make a fun game. Because this shit is way more fun than any Nintendo game.
Sure.
And so then there was this argument going on. And it's kind of become just absolute shit show where everyone is shouting different things into the void and different people feel like they should defend different things. And the ultimate question is like, does it
but how's
plagiarize? But it's a fun game, and that's the worst part of it.
There we go.
How's the game?
Done and dusted.
And the worst part is that I think that they are definitely, I mean, from a personal perspective, it feels way too close to Pokemon in certain settings.
I think the only argument that is kind of valid in this instance, at least for me personally, is the comparison between Pokemon games, right?
Yeah.
In the sense that, like, you know, as a Pokemon fan myself, I think this game being so successful and it being compared to Pokemon, I think is a good wake-up call for Nintendo.
That's what a lot of people are arguing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, yeah, but you can say that without arguing that. Like,
no,
it's
you
good.
can't, because this is Nintendo we're talking about.
Would you say let's say the feel and the feeling of plagiarism or like, because there's always a question between plagiarism and inspiration.
I'm playing it and it feels uncomfortably close.
Right.
Like even like Breath of the Wild. But then again, it's the same question of,
because I remember this.
Is it plagiarism or is it inspiration?
No, because I remember this kind of discussion happening when Genshin first released.
If you think that this is like plagiarizing, for example, like Breath of the Wild, then I guess it would have to be the same. It's the same level as Genshin of like, but then like open world games that you can explore. That's not something you can plagiarize. Is it like a very similar style and approach to how Breath of the Wild did it? Yes, I think so. But the same way that Genshin is. And again, I'm not trying to defend this game.
But there were open world games before Breath of the Wild as well.
Yeah, I'm not trying to defend this game, but I think because it's the Pokemon is way too close. It's way too close.
Yeah, because like I'm looking just at some of these pictures and I'm looking at some of these monsters and I'm like, oh, that looks like that
Lucario,
Pokemon.
yeah.
That looks like Lucario. There's the one that looks like Rowlet up there.
There's just some things that they did that just baffles me why they did the exact.
That looks like Leafeon.
Do you know what this looks like? Like, sometimes you're browsing on YouTube or some fucking site you shouldn't be on, and you see this ad of this weird mobile game that gets advertised. You know what I mean?
The one that looks like a Pokemon game, right?
No. It could be like any any weird mobile game, or it's like a fucking, maybe it's a League ripoff, or maybe it's a Pokemon ripoff, or something ripoff, and you're like, there's no way this game exists. And then you look into it, and it's just like, oh, this is just a fake build or whatever.
But it kind of feels like the creators have just looked at all the games they like and just taken every single aspect from every game they like and shoved it into one, but also maybe kind of copied the style of all those things a little too much. Like I was mentioning earlier, there's some things they copied too much, which I think were just completely unnecessary to copy. Like when you catch a mon or pal or whatever you want to call it.
A mon?
I call them mons because I refuse to call them pal because it reminds me too much of Chris Chan and I don't like calling them because he calls everyone pals.
I think that's a you problem.
Yeah, it is actually a me problem. Like the ball, when you throw it, it wiggles 3 times. You could have just not done that. Like, why did you? It's like, if you wanted to avoid the plagiarism accusations, why would you make it so that so many little things...
Even just the fact you have to throw a ball-shaped thing in order to catch it as well.
I mean, it's kind of hard, and I get that's kind of unavoidable. But
at least change the shape. Make it a cube or something.
And like, I don't think little things like that would have been bad if they hadn't have had so many designs that are too closely inspired.
Sure.
But then a lot of people argued that then the designs are inspired. Pokemon designs are inspired from yokai or mythology and Dragon
real
Quest
animals
or real animals. Even people were arguing that the sheeps look too the same to the Pokemon sheep. People like, it's a fucking sheep, dog. Which I agree with.
Yeah.
And I think you can have the same conversation of the sheeps aren't a fucking copy, but hey, that Lucario looks awfully a lot like the Lucario.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at this, right? Go to the top image, like that third one there.
Leafeon,
that straight up looks like Leafeon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's not even
like I think you can say that they copied. They not copied, but inspired.
Even the color palette is exactly the same as Leafeon.
Some of the things are. I think even if there is no legal battle here, right? I think as a consumer, you can be like, yeah, this feels a little too close. But at the same time, Pokemon fans are so starved for a good fucking game that I think they are just rejoicing at the fact that they basically get to get the game they wanted.
I agree. Look,
which is weird.
Yeah, I think as a Pokemon fan, I think this game becoming successful is great for the Pokemon community because it is putting pressure, I think, or I'd like to hope it is putting pressure until Nintendo sues. But I think it's putting pressure on Nintendo to be like, hey, make a fucking good game.
But I don't think that has to mean that the company's success is we should be super. It's so tough because I think that statement can exist whilst also being like, hey, you guys took a little too much.
Well,
Right.
I think like objectively,
Yeah.
like what this proved, is there is a huge gap in the market. There is.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, okay, people are getting mad because this game got popular, of course, and
Yeah.
I don't think there would be this entire discourse around it if this game wasn't breaking records left, right, and center.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
fuck no. If this had faded
Yeah.
into obscurity, no one would give a fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the reason this is breaking records left, right, and center is because there is a clear gap in the market of what people want in their video games.
Yeah.
We just
And a lot
want a Pokemon game in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
That's what we've been.
It was
asking
like
for.
put together by a bunch of Japanese dudes, and one of them was like a combini worker
Yeah.
student
Yeah.
who was like, "Oh yeah, I can make guns," and he just
Yeah.
made the guns. And apparently, the reason they added guns to the game was because they said Americans like to shoot things. And
I mean, they've been proven right.
And I'm inclined to agree with them because there's this like fucking bear thing. I mean, I just unlocked that Gatling gun.
Right.
And yeah, you literally can just gun down these things. And it's insane and it's very fun.
I think all the clips I've seen of Palworld, it just, it's a game that, there's this thing about plagiarism, taking things from different games. It just seems like a game that hits every single gamer instinct you could ever have in one single
the
game.
base
Yeah.
building is really fun. You have a
Yeah.
base that you build and you essentially
Open
make a
world,
factory.
base
Yeah.
building, cute monsters,
And then when you catch
guns.
them, it's not like in Pokemon where you catch these things and you only use like the 6 in your party. You make them work. You put them to work in your base. And like you make them mine, you make them cut wood, you make them make food. You do all
Go,
this.
my slaves.
Yeah, it's like it literally.
What was this, fucking
you
Isekai
can also
simulator?
you can also catch people. I don't know if you knew this.
You can catch people. So you can actually make real slaves.
You can catch people. You can sell them for money, and you can make them work for free.
Wait, I
And you
think.
could-
Whoa! Wait a
also-
minute.
and you could
this
also-
kind of reminds me of something.
You can also butcher the Pokemon.
Is this
for,
plagiarism?
You can also butcher the people and the Pokemon for resources as well.
Holy shit.
I call them Pokemon.
Wow.
Palworld is nothing like Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like a game where
I mean, look at that thing. That just fucking.
It's a car crash of different genres and different.
And it's also so
aspects.
buggy. It's so fucking funny.
Oh, really?
Like, you'll hit an enemy sometime they'll just fly away, and you're like, okay,
How many hours have you put into it?
like 40. I'm like nearly done with it.
Jesus.
I've nearly got everything. But what's also great is that like you could just have like 5 of your friends come just fucking come in the world and fucking chill out. And,
Yeah,
like,
well,
you
which
can
is
all-
what they try to do.
And
in
you
the
can
newest
do like a
Pokemon
Monster
game.
Hunter-esque raid where you're all trying to catch this one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might have like a 1% chance, but you have to make the balls as well. You can't buy them. You have to make them.
Well,
So you have to like really manage your resources.
And again, that was something Pokemon tried to do with the newest game, and it just completely fucking failed.
Well, Arceus felt so like kind of
Well, even Violet and
half-baked.
Scarlet with the multiplayer segment, it was just
Yeah.
so like unintuitive.
And the fact that because it's on Steam, I can literally just be like, "Hey Joe, join my world. Pop, you're in
Yeah.
2 seconds."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can join at any time. There's no weird kind of restrictions.
Yeah.
And you can also, they allow you to adjust all the settings of the server. So if you want to get XP way faster, you can do it. If you want to catch stuff easier, if you want to get more drops,
Right.
if you want to,
Like creative mode.
there's
Yeah.
like raids on your base. You can turn them off. So while you're out, they might come and raid your base to quickly get back and save your base from being
Yeah.
demolished. It's really fucking cool. Like it's such a cool game idea that is kind of
Just so
unfortunately
many mechanics put into one.
it's unfortunately has this cloud of did it copy too much, and it's kind
Do you
of
think most people care about that?
no. I think there is this unfortunate lack of caring from consumers that don't care about how their art is made and how it's consumed, and I think it's a shame. But
Yeah.
it's also how it's always been. The consumer rarely cares about how art is made. They just want it made. And it's almost like shouting at a brick wall, hoping that the consumer will care about where their art comes from.
Yeah.
You know, there are some people who look at a painting or look at a 3D model of a game. They'll look at this, like Elden Ring. You might look at a boss, and like someone might look at that and think, "Holy shit! The amount of work that must have gone into design, must have model, animate, rig this thing must have been absolutely painstaking, and a lot of people have interest learning that, and a lot of people do not give a fuck, and they just think that this thing gets made and it's made because it got made,
Yeah.
Pretty
and they don't
much.
realize that maybe a boss character took thousands of collective hours and painstaking work to make it come to life. Like that is
Kind of
you
sounds like
can't-
the anime community, doesn't it?
It's this, and
it's the
as,
same
and
all around.
as we have proven time and time again with the animator situation,
Yeah.
consumers do not give a fuck how the thing gets made,
Yep.
as long as it gets made.
As long as the end product is good.
And it is so unfortunate because I think that I'd love for this world to coexist where we could have everyone care about how the art is made. You know, and I think I watched all Jujutsu Kaisen. Did I have a moral obligation to not do that? I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't know what I should and shouldn't do.
Right.
All I know is that it's bad and we want it to change. So much so that every single time my fucking little pals are working away, everyone's like, oh, it's a Mappa studio in there. Like, that's become synonymous now with like horrible working conditions. Like, it's a joke now. Like, what is the
They fail to realize that it's still an actual massive problem that is outside of that immediate thing as well.
I guess that's why it's so hard to really get invested in this, because you don't know.
I don't know what the right stance is to take. What is the right thing to argue
Even with
for?
what you described with Palworld, I don't even know what the problem is. Not like I don't know what the core problem. I don't know what like the singular problem is, because it seems like there are multiple
And everyone's
problems
fighting a
being
different fight,
and everyone's fighting a different thing, and you're like. And at the end of the day, consumers going to see that shit show going on this one little side of the internet and be like, fuck this shit, I'm just going to play the game.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the Palworld creators are just raking in the money from the amount of hype and
like
talk.
200 million in sales so far.
Yeah.
The second most concurrent players of any Steam game ever.
Fucking hell.
It's the success of this game is something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
This is truly like on another level.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating as being an opposition as well, because I want to make sure that, you know, with our platform and what I'm doing is that we're sending out the right message there, and that we care about artists and how art is made, because I think it's important to care about how art is made.
Absolutely.
But I don't know, as somebody who's in this weird kind of commentary, kind of not in the process, but a consumer and a lot of people's viewing point of how where this, like, a lot of people might experience the art through me interacting with it in some sense.
Yeah.
How do I have a responsible way of sharing that? I don't know.
It's,
Like,
well, I
don't
mean,
know.
you know, it's
like,
difficult.
how do you talk about Jujutsu Kaisen without
Well,
constantly
that's the
having
thing,
to,
right? It's difficult, as you said, like, you know, some people are obviously going to care about the underlying problems that are legitimate problems, but it's also very difficult to try and convince people on how they should think, or, you know, what stance they should take, because this is the internet. Everyone's fucking opinionated. They're not going to budge just because someone told them that they should think a certain way, you know?
But I
And there's
also,
nothing, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that.
yeah. Well, it's also a shame, because I feel like sometimes I feel like I sometimes have the wrong mindset on this as well, where I think maybe I'm part of the problem when I'm consuming this anime, and I think that, but it's really fucking good. And how do I change?
Right.
How do I change my perspective on that? Because I don't know. I'm watching this thing, and I hear about these stories, and I want to know how the fuck what is the best thing to do here? I don't know, and how do I change my mind about how I feel about this? How do I feel differently about this media?
Personally, you should worry less about what other people perceive you, because I'm sure we might have said something in here that would have offended some people, but you get to a point, and at least I had this realization. Yeah. You get to a point when you realize, you know, people look at us with a big reach, but even with a reach our big, we can only do so much. And it's an unwinnable game of just always being able to figure out what to do, what is the right thing to do about a certain topic. There are some certain topics we know more about. There are some certain topics we don't know more about. What I've come to value is enacting change that I have control of. There are some things where it's frustrating because you feel like it's out of your control, and you want there to be change, but there's just no control there. And the more I've realized what I can control and what I can't control, the more, like with Palworld, I can't fucking control it. I can't fucking control that. And there is this argument about is it ethical to consume or not? And at the end of the day, I personally, if you choose to consume it or don't consume it, personally, I don't know how much of a big difference you can make.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, we're in the middle of it, so it could be in 5 years from now there might be a clear, consensus.
Yeah, we're too far into the gray zone of this right now, where we don't know if there's an actual correct right or wrong. I think
the one thing
anything.
that pisses me off sometimes when I'm like playing a fucking video game and someone's like, "Hey, you should talk about this thing," and I'm like, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
I am like,
I'll talk about it if I want to talk about
like
it. You know?
like, what is me gonna do talking about this thing to this audience, like, who have already probably made up their own mind, have their own personal opinions about it. Like me, I am like the McDonald's equivalent of like on the Michelin star chef world. Like, I'm at the bottom of this chain of producing slop, essentially.
No, I've come to notice people who ask that kind of shit to you, they don't actually want to hear your opinion. They are either sitting on either side of the fence and they want to hear someone that they admire and get validation from them.
Really? I feel like sometimes people just want you to agree with them and say the thing they agree with.
Well, no, that's exactly what it is. And it's like, it's like if you're sitting on one side of the fence or the other, and like I go up to you, for example, and say like, hey, can you talk about this issue? Which side do you agree with?
Yeah.
If you agree with my side, then great, the ship is sailing. If I don't agree with whatever you say, there's another reason to hate you, And it's like, well, then what the fuck? Either way, I'm not winning because I'm throwing myself into this conversation that I didn't want to throw myself into. That's why you haven't heard anything from me yet. Yeah. If I wanted to join the conversation, you didn't have to ask me. I would have said something.
No, it feels like, especially with something like Twitter or modern problems, it seems like everyone needs to have an opinion. I think everyone just needs. I think the world can actually move on more if a lot of people realize you don't have to have an opinion about everything. You can do your best to be educated, but we're all fucking human. There's only so much we can intake and so much we can emotionally get invested in and care about. There are some issues that unfortunately I have no personal investment in, as much as, because in this day and age, it seems like I need to be invested in everything going on.
Oh, yeah.
All around the world.
It's hard.
And no one person can do that.
I don't think the human brain can truly comprehend this many issues and not go fucking crazy or not go depressed.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately. So
it's been a weird game, and it's kind of made a lot of interesting conversation.
All right, enough talking about fucking internet fights.
Angry people online.
I want to talk about real fights with real men.
What?
Because I had a mate come visit me in Thailand. And I took him to well, we might have done with the amount of fucking adrenaline running through our veins.
Okay.
Because I took him to a Muay Thai fight.
Oh shit!
Yeah. And it was actually my very first Muay Thai, seeing my very first Muay Thai fight as well. Because I've seen it a lot on TV, but I've never actually gone out of my way to watch a fight in real life. And I don't know, something. Next time you guys are in Thailand, I gotta fucking take you in one.
Hell yeah!
Because something clicked in my brain that I didn't know was there.
It's like I just want to kick a dude.
No. So basically, we got ringside seats to one. It was a Sunday event, so it was a televised event.
Sure.
Right. And watching two men just fucking beat the shit out of each other. And sitting.
Why do you think Becky's so popular?
I don't fucking I've seen fights. I've seen boxing. I've seen contact sports before, and it's cool in the moment. And you're like, I'm okay. I don't know. I like it. I can watch it, but I'm not into it.
Sure.
But just being ringside and just hearing every single punch. And just seeing the sweat, in fucking sports anime or a sports film where it's someone gets punched and you see the sweat just explode everywhere. Seeing that in real life made me realize why, it made me feel like being a Roman watching, going to the Colosseum, some shit like that. This is the closest I've seen to real blood sports up close.
Sure.
And I'm a bit. I guess Muay Thai is pretty popular, right? But it's not as widespread and televised as it is in Thailand. And it is just such a fun contact sport where
I bet.
I was there and I was like, I don't know if we're gonna see some good matches or not. We had eight matches. 4 of them ended up in knockouts.
Oh damn!
Wow!
Hell yeah!
Yeah, and I was talking to one of the event organizers, and they were like, "Oh yeah, today was a pretty tame day actually." Not
Oh my god.
like that. Today was a pretty tame day.
Oh, yeah.
Brain damage the sport.
Yeah.
Like,
Not a
fuck
single
me.
broken bone. What that was team
No,
day.
I literally, I've seen so many fucking Joe Rogan clips talking about like the brutality of Muay Thai,
Right.
and then seeing like you get to a point where there's an opportunity where if a guy gets hit right, you will literally you have a chance of getting fucking blood in your beer or some shit like that. It is.
In your beer?
Yeah. It is,
Oh my
it is,
God.
It is that brutal, and they go that hard. But it
There's a
also
bunch of Thai guys just like sitting there being like, wasn't the same today. No blood in my beer.
no blood in my beer. Yeah, I don't know. There's just some.
Bring the poncho.
Yeah,
Raincoat.
yeah. But yeah. So it was my first Muay Thai experience, and I honestly think now that everyone should go see, because like you got to sit ringside on the YouTuber chess boxing, right?
I did, yeah. That's
Yeah.
fun.
How much of an adrenaline rush did you get from watching that?
I mean, it's just intense, and you feel bad. You almost feel bad for the people because you can hear all the punches connecting on
Yeah.
TV. You don't hear that,
Yeah.
but you hear all the little noises, and it
Yeah.
almost makes it like worse and better at the same time because you're like, it makes you really uncomfortable with the idea of watching people just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's how I felt when we went to go see the sumo as well
Yeah.
live. Like I've seen
Yeah.
it on TV so many times, but
Yeah.
just especially that first initial impact of when the match starts, it is so loud.
there is
live.
just this like kind of awe that I think people and humans just have with beating each other up.
Yeah.
Or sports that require you to throw each other around
There
or
was
something.
just something in your monkey.
That's why
Yeah.
World Star is a thing.
Just something
Yeah.
in your monkey brain that just sees two people hitting each other. Like I remember this one fight where there was this one guy who just seemed to be tanking kicks.
Yeah.
Right. I'd like everyone in there is hard as a motherfucker. I use hard in like the fucking British way.
Yeah. Not hard as a motherfucker.
Yeah. There was we went on a day that was meant to be like the amateur fights, right?
Sure.
And these amateur fights, there were these like 16, 18-year-olds that have been in 40 matches. They literally felt like a Baki characters because you see this 16-year-old walk in and you're like,
His dad's he's been fighting with his dad the night before.
Yeah.
I actually, because me and my mate had a few drinks before, and he posed this question to me. Right, he was like, "All right, real talk. How many 8-year-olds do you think you can feasibly beat in a fight? Like how like what's
If they
what's
were
the number?
all attacking
Yeah,
you?
if they were all attacking you at the same time, how many 8-year-olds do you think you can beat in a?
I think after 10, I'm done.
Which
You
means
think you take on 10?
you're satisfied?
No. As in, like, I'll be dead.
Like, do
Wait,
they
what?
have weapons?
No. All
Just
hand to-
fists.
Just fists. All hand-to-hand combat.
I think after 10, it'll get too overwhelming.
you think you can take on 10? Because here's the thing. Right? Here's the
I
thing.
don't know. How skilled are these 8-year-olds?
I feel like I could beat up a lot.
More than 10?
Yeah.
Okay, listen. The one thing that would hold you back is, would your hands start hurting too much after punching so many kids in the face?
Yeah, but you assume. Okay, here's the thing, right?
Okay, what am I assuming? What am I assuming? I'm missing something.
You assume that you can deck a kid and he will stay down in one hit, right? Because that's the thing. If there are too many 8-year-olds that like jump you at the same time, they're going to eventually overpower you, right?
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
Yeah. So you like the strat
am I
is-
allowed to kick?
Yeah, you're allowed to kick.
You can do whatever the fuck
But,
you
like,
want.
Oh, they're donezo.
The strat is.
kidding me?
Can you completely knock out one kid in one hit, and how many times can you do that in a row? Because if they get up, they're eventually just gonna fucking drag you
It's
down.
gonna be like
and tie you out.
It's gonna be like an arcade machine. Each one they come near me, I'll kick them into oblivion.
Just coffee grind, sweep all their legs out, and then just go one by one.
These are the legs that did the cyclotron. These are big legs.
Yeah.
It's like the force of Zeus in this kid's face. Like Michael, like Atlas, if he put down the ball and started throwing hands.
It's like that scene in 300. You know?
Dude, I think I could knock out a kid instantly. What do you mean?
But I think that's
What do
why-
you don't think you could knock out a kid instantly? Why like this is the most trash taste discussion.
No, here's
We're logistically talking about child abuse.
Yeah. That's the-
8-year-old. What is the
8-year-old.
average weight and size of an 8-year-old? Bring it up. I want to be
See,
scientific.
that's why I
about
said
this.
10. Because I think
I think I do like 30.
30 kids.
I don't think no.
8-year-olds.
Minimum,
No.
and then give me a 5 minute. Give me a 5 minute.
I think 8-year-olds can get stronger than you think.
Give me like a. I
This
need
is
a,
why games like Realistic Battle Simulator
What
are
the
a thing.
fuck?
To answer these questions.
Can I get that in real units, please?
Yeah, no pounds, no pounds.
Because as long as they, I mean, obviously they'd be hitting my balls,
20
right?
kilos.
Yeah,
Bro,
Nico's lowest.
That's one hand.
20 to 30 kilos.
Dude, I can launch 20 kilos. I could throw a kid into the other kids and keep throwing them around.
Yeah, but like,
I'd
okay.
get tired. That'd be the biggest thing. My stamina.
That's the thing.
You would get tired, right?
So what's going to run out first? The vitality of these kids?
I'm not talking about how many 8-year-olds one-on-one fight can you do in a row. I'm talking about they
At the same time.
They try to jump you, and you have to like strategically try to take.
What's
on...
my battlefield? What's my battlefield?
All right.
What's the map? Where am I fighting now? I really want to think
Super
about
Smash
this.
Bros. Final Destination, no items.
Yeah.
It's a flat ground.
Flat ground.
I can jump to a platform though, right? There's a platform above me.
No platform.
wait,
No
platform.
I was thinking of
Literally
Kirby.
just flat ground.
It's like a fucking.
I just
dojo.
gotta-
You're in the middle. You're
I
in
just
a
have to edge guard them, and
Yeah.
they're done.
You're in a park.
And these kids are like, they're not built like a Baki character, but
What
they
is
are
happening to what happened to our trash state?
It doesn't matter. We're talking about real discussions
Okay.
here.
Yeah,
I
real
think-
discussions with.
I said 10, right? Because I think like 5, for instance, right, is doable.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it won't be easy, but I think it'll be doable.
I think 5 is.
I think
doable.
10 though is the limit where like if there's 10 8-year-olds running up to you in all directions, how are you going to start?
Just think about this.
Can I kill them?
Okay. You can kill them, but
Let's assume these are like not real kids.
these aren't real kids. These are like
What's the most effective way?
That's what I'm saying. Coffee grind.
coffee grind.
Just coffee grind, sweep out all their feet so they fall to the ground and then just take them on one by one.
This feels like a fear and hunger enemy, actually. Your foe in the dungeon. 15 kids.
15 kids.
Armored up with
because
the finest.
Because we had this discussion, then he posed to me the question. Okay, but like, would you think the same if they were monkeys? Could you think about monkeys and they're like, fucking,
Nah, monkeys would have
Nah,
it.
monkeys. I'm just gonna say, I don't even think I can take on one monkey.
The thing is, everyone
A
thinks,
tail's a game changer. Tail's a game changer.
is.
everyone thinks they can take on like 10, 20 to 8-year-olds, but you switch them to monkeys.
Because
and
monkeys can fucking pounce and they can jump very fast.
I don't even think I can beat one monkey.
All it takes is one monkey on your face.
Yeah,
and it's
one
game
monkey on
over.
your face and it's done.
yeah, and monkeys
3,
are fucking
4, or
strong
5
as
times
well.
stronger than a human.
Dude.
Oh, 1.2 to 1.5
Yeah, you
times.
literally read out the misconception.
Oh, fuck's sake. I didn't read. Why did they phrase the sentence like that with this is not true at the end?
Okay, what if I just like grabbed one kid? Okay, let's say 10 kids run at me. I grab one kid, throw him at the kids to get as many of them out of the way as I can. Grab another kid, grab him out, pile drive his head into the ground. Presumably he's out.
Okay, what if you grabbed one of the kids by the leg and you just like windmilled around? It's just
That
like,
is, honestly, if you try to pick someone up by the leg, I haven't, but no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, if you're trying to move someone by the leg, it's very hard.
okay, just grab him by the
It
arms.
sounds like,
then.
it sounds
Just
like I
fucking-
killed someone. It sounds like, it's honestly it's much better than
I know from experience.
I feel like you have an easier time if you was wearing clothes. You just pick him up by the coat or shirt, whatever. You just fucking launch it.
Fucking launch. But as if,
Just shot put his ass.
But like if you don't fucking knock him out, he's gonna get back up and start jumping you again and again.
I don't
feel
think
like-
that will do
I feel like
as
you
much
can- you
damage.
have to, like,
You can do the cheesing thing that you do in fighting games where you just keep doing the low kick where you like low kick their leg.
Yeah,
But you low
that's what
kick
I'm
their
saying.
face, you like
Yeah.
boom, boom, keep
Yeah.
them away. Just don't let them get on you.
Yeah.
I think you can do it.
But I
Because
don't think
eventually they're going to start either crying or get knocked out.
I don't think
Yeah.
throwing the kid into another kid is going to do much damage to
I
either
could throw
of
them
those
into the
kids.
wall, right?
I mean, I get. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
What if
you can do
But you're
any
in Final
you can do-
Destination. There's no.
You can do
walls.
any tactic you like. You just have like no weapons, right? And it's
Nah, 10 is my limit.
yeah. I'd say
I think
8 to 10.
I'd say 8.
8 to 10.
I think I
20.
20.
20.
God, I'd love to see that.
Let's arrange it.
I don't think
Next
you,
special.
I don't think you can like. I don't think
Next
you can like
Thursday
possibly
special.
like.
88-year-olds want to get beaten up. Contact trash taste.
If it was 10-year-olds, it'd be a lot less. But 8-year-old, that's pretty short.
What's the difference between those 2 years?
Can we get Can you show a comparative age and picture? 8-year-olds
8-year-old
versus
versus
adult.
10-year-old.
8-year-old versus adult size. Just so, because like 8-year-olds are pretty small.
I think they're pretty.
10-year-olds they go through growth spurts.
8-year-old.
8-year-olds are small, but
I don't think you can get a growth spurt at age 10.
No, it's a pretty big difference.
Really?
Bro, that is
Actually pretty big.
that's pretty big.
That's pretty
man.
big, actually.
That's pretty big.
Okay.
You can take on 20 of
Okay,
those.
10.
Yeah, right.
I
That's what
think
I'm
you're
saying.
thinking about toddlers at this
Go to-
point.
Yeah, I think
ten-
you're thinking of like 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5-year-olds I could take like
Yeah,
50.
5-year-olds? Okay. Yeah, 5-year-olds.
Okay, 10-year-old, do 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Average height of a
So I
10-year-old
think 10-year-old
boy.
they start to grow a lot more. Like in
138
can you show
centimeters.
an image maybe.
140 centimeters.
Yeah, I feel like I would. Yeah, maybe I'm overzealous. No,
Yeah.
I'm overconfident.
32 kilos, 140 centimeters.
Yeah.
So what's that like? Maybe about that.
That's pretty big.
That's pretty.
I think
That's like
if,
almost Connor size already.
if one of them gets a good wow,
Yeah, probably like.
if one of them
probably
gets a
like
good nut shot on me, it's game over. You know. So
Yeah.
I kind of have to
that.
account
And
for that.
they are at perfect nut height as well.
How did this
Like
conversation come
boom.
about?
Because we were seeing how many fucking shots these kids were tanking.
How old are they?
Huh?
They're like 16. right?
15, 16,
Oh my
and
God.
up to 18. And I'm like, what? Because you could hear the impact of every thud. And
Yeah.
sometimes like people were getting like obviously hit in the face, they can tank it in the face, but it was like the body shots, right?
Yeah.
Because with
Oh,
Muay
wow.
Thai, because I've done a bit of Muay Thai, and when you do a kick, it's almost like it's the same power as just getting a baseball bat. Just
Well,
like-
it's like because they like whip their feet, right?
yeah.
Like it's
So
almost like a
you-
whip
you
motion.
whip your feet
Yeah.
and you hear this impact, and it literally sounds like someone just took a baseball bat and just fucking tried to crack their rig.
They whip. Visualize all the little bones in your body to make a whip.
Yeah, and I remember this one fight where this guy just, which I guess comes down to like the mental game as well. This one guy just seemed to be tanking kicks, and it did not seem to be affecting him at
Oh,
all.
no.
Yeah, to the point where like you could visually see how red his body was,
Oh my
right?
God.
You could see it, and we were like, "What? How the hell is he still standing?" And like he looked unfazed,
Standing
right?
here.
And he looked unfazed, and all it took was like one kick in the 4th round, and it wasn't even the hardest kick, but he just fucking fell over, went limp,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
I mean,
Hanayama
normally-
Code exists.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in Thailand.
Normally you can't just take kicks for free.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you're
Yeah.
supposed to dodge.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, 'cause,
but
I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's a bit sad because we went to like a very local stadium, and normally, this stadium was famous for being able to all the local Thai people coming to watch, but it has very much been transformed to be more foreigner friendly. The ticket prices is not anything that the locals can afford,
Right.
unfortunately. But it was funny because they had like whenever they'd introduce fighter, they'd have like a Thai announcer, and they'd have like a typical like English speaking announcer as well.
Oh wow.
And the
That's
Thai
cool.
the Thai announcer was like, Thailand, we are like very respectful country. We're like, okay, so the next fighter is this person. He grew up from this province. His name
Yeah.
is this.
How come they're really respectful here, but then when I'm trying to get in a taxi, it feels like there's just nothing but disrespect.
When it comes to martial arts, that's where
Dude, is that where all the respect went? What the heck?
That's called xenophobia.
No, they were nice. They just hustle.
And then you hand it over to like the foreigner, and he's like, and coming into the red corner,
Makes sense.
the man from Thailand. And it's just
I
like,
mean,
oh my
we
God.
love the shows with fighters.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. completely
It's-
butchers his
it's
name.
just like the sheer dichotomy between the energy between how the Thai fighters.
It's
perceive
Monday,
it.
Muay Thai night.
But like there's one fight that stood out to me. It wasn't anything actually to do with the fight, right? Because there was this one fight where it was I guess I think this kid was like 16 or something like that. And imagine it, it's a packed stadium, right? It's a packed stadium. Everyone's cheering on every single hit, every punch. And this one voice just pierces through everything. And it's the kid's mum.
Oh no.
And
Jesus.
like me and my mate had bets on like which fighter would win, and I bet against that kid, right? And then just seeing the mum, just seeing the mum, and I listened. He was like, no, hook left.
Oh my
give him
God.
uppercut, no, dodge, and like and just like it.
That would drive me insane if my mum was backseating
I don't
me
know.
in a
It almost
boxing match.
Oh my
it almost
God.
made me fucking tear up because like just like seeing the mum just support like, I can't imagine how it is as a parent, seeing your kid in the ring getting
beat up.
Beat up, man.
Must be horrible.
And just seeing the mom just fully commit to supporting this kid, who thankfully actually won his fight in the end.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, fuck the other kid and his mom.
Fuck the other. His mom wasn't there. His mom wasn't there.
That's why you should always go to your sons or daughters' games because they'll win.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll win.
Power of parents.
They will win, and if you can hear them, I don't know if the kid could hear the person or not. Because I can't imagine how focused you need to be on the ring.
My
That
God.
kid probably had like a raging bull moment where he's
Yeah.
just like, he heard the mom and was
my
like, I
Lord.
have to do it for my family.
Damn, well, that was
Yeah,
good.
but
that was epic.
I highly recommend going to more contact sports. I think I'm going to do it now as well. It's
Well, well, we know what we're doing next time we're in Thailand.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
And how many 8-year-olds can we be in?
I said 10.
Yeah.
You said 8. You
I'll
said
say 11, just
You
to
say-
one up
you say
Joey.
11.
Just to one up Joey. But thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Don't forget to buy the merch while you still can. It's the last opportunity to grab
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
We
Connor
will not be bringing it back.
This is, for some reason, this is the one day that Connor decided not to wear.
I thought we
his
weren't doing a
lavender shirt.
topical episode this week. I didn't know we were going to be doing a fast release episode. So it's
Yeah.
my bad. I would have worn the shirt if I'd have known. But you can get it. Your last chance ever to
It's
get
your
a Connor
last
shirt.
chance. It's Connor's last chance as well.
Might not
'Cause
be ever, actually.
This is no joke, but when we decided that we were bringing this, the OG APARI run back, Connor literally said in our Slack thread, "Can I get 30 of those shirts,
Yeah, I asked
please?
for 30 of them. So
Can I get 30?"
I'm getting 30. I put 20 and I sat there and I put, and I removed it.
he's
to 30.
literally trying to do a B movie in real life.
Yeah, I'm going to have all of the t-shirts in my collection.
Do you know what that NG reminded me of? Have you watched Parks and Recs at all, or any?
Yeah.
You know that there's this clip where is his name Ron Swanson?
Yeah, Ron Swanson.
Yeah, there's where Ron Swanson like goes to like a diner and he goes, "Give me all of the bacon that you have." And the guy walks away and he goes, "No, come back."
Yeah.
I'm afraid you misheard. Give me a lot of bacon. What I said was give me all of the bacon. And that's the same energy I felt when Connor was like, "I want 30 shirts." And he goes, no, really. I want
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I
Not
run
around 30. I want 30.
I want 30. I'm telling you, I've worn out my current shirts too much. I do want to throw them away, or I might give them away if I want them.
Jesus.
Because there's holes in them and the neck has been ruined. So I kind of just want to get a new shirt.
So do you want that shirt among all these other
It's your
items?
final chance.
It's your final chance. So get it
Final.
now. But hey, look at all these patrons, though.
Look at all that,
I'm sure.
yeah.
Let us know in the comments how many 8-year-olds you can beat up, because I'm curious.
We should poll our patrons, see how many.
Yeah, poll the
What
patrons.
is the optimal strats? Please,
Yeah.
give us
No.
what your strat would be to take on as many 8-year-olds as possible.
Thanks so much for watching.
Yeah, but
there
hey,
is-
if
yeah.
you want to support us, then make sure to go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter. Send us memes on the subreddit. If you had a face, listen to us on Spotify. And hey, we have a brand new Patreon exclusive video up right now as well. So go check that out. Link is in the description.
Yeah, here's a preview right now.
You guys want to join in? You guys
No, Joey, you got this.
I'm in my team.
We're going to be interacting with people, a lot of people actually. They're already lining up out there waiting for us. So,
They're the worst of all. Australians.
Oh, you see, y'all. Hi.
Anyways, boys, thank you guys for joining in, and we will see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.